We don't play favorites around here.
It's the professor. Maybe he's trading that wave stock. How would we not name the #1 name on our board?
It's not wave. No, because I checked that before. I don't think it was up there before.
Not.
No.
I don't recall seeing WVE.
I think it might have just got spiked up in there. But
okay, well maybe Sharif is looking.
By the way, the futures are tanking. So
market at below the day and Wave making moves. Apparently,
I think so.
If that's the name of the company, go get them, boys.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That right there is your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And yes, we are looking at Wave. There's no, it's #1 on the side chart. We're gonna get to it. But first, Jody.
Yes, sir.
We gotta say hi to everybody, including Jody Mills in the chat. Joey,
what's up, Jody?
she's almost #1 today, right after your name today,
yeah,
Joey.
all right, bang.
Shout out to Boss Play and Rex Banner, Carlos G. We got Kalua and Adrian Peterson. Oh, Patterson. Shout out. MF Dangerous, Others Inc. We got OG Wisdom. We got Guerrero. We got Kalua. We got Jacques. Mike P.D. Ryder. Philip S1. Buffalo Soldier and Ronaldo. Fluffy Hippo joining us as well as Mr. Bones. And who's this? Philosopher on a Mission. Love that name, man. We got Michael Baldwin. We got Andrew Chow. We got Legend League 444. We got Fernando. We got Hangry Wife. Halt the Porch Trader. He's got his laptop, Joey.
Oh, he's got it.
He's posted up on the porch. He's got his feet up, and he's punching into good positions.
Drinking iced tea.
Hey, we got Gavin Ross. We got Conservative Movement. Oh, boy. Nerd Affiliated and King Clutch. We got the OG Yannick. Johnny Bravo joining us as well. Joey, we are eBay. Energy incoming. Oh, you guessed it, baby. The energy is right here. Oh. It's a triple. All right, one more. It's the way it goes, Katina, man. We got Jack's Day Trader. Last one. CEO Mixel Ventures. Love that. Good morning, Joe.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's had a fantastic start to the day. A little bit of a trickier one, but Electric Passions and I were talking in the chat, just sticking to risk measures, and we're going to get right into it. Right now, I'm currently short SMR, so we get the break of the neckline, boom, boom, boom. We wait for things to start to cool down, then I reloaded, double up the position, so we're going to hold this for a crack of the low of the day, but there's a couple things that I'm keeping my eye out on. Why did I take the majority of my position off right at 21.11s? I'm going to show you right now. So we're going to head over to the 30-minute time frame here on SMR, and that's going to correlate with Friday's post-market low. So if we do break that, potentially more downside. Full disclosure, I did buy a little bit more this morning. I added 33% to my position. And then if we sell off, I'm going to add an additional 33%, and then I'm going to hold that for the break of 18. If it breaks 18, then we are out of that trade. But as for SMR, guys, a couple attempts. I was thinking on the long this morning. It didn't work out, but just sticking to those tight stops. This is literally 10 cents. And then we get out. We're like, all right, doesn't want to break. Didn't like the price action at the volume-weighted average price. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Neckline breach. Boom, we're going to come right back down into the zone, and we get a nice little short to the downside. But we must talk about the losers. But again, even though we didn't make money on these trades, I'm going to give myself credit, and a lot of traders in the chat as well too, because just look at this risk management here. I'm in at 85s, out at 75s. I'm in at 83s, out at 74. Right? You kind of get what you see what I'm getting at here? 74, out at 64. You know what I mean? So 10 cents of risk, that's what I was willing to give the trade. And if it breached those levels, I'm out of it. And luckily I didn't bag hold here, because look at the trajectory of Tesla, just straight to the downside, guys. So not too good of a look. I tried making a transaction there for you on SMR. It didn't come up yet, so my position will display itself momentarily. But we struck out on Tesla. I wrote it in the chat. I'm like, hey man, we took our 3 stabs at it. We didn't get what we were looking for, so let's find something else to trade, and that's going to be SMR. So hopefully we can get a break of the 2120 level, and then we'll start to piece them out near the low of the day. So that's my game plan on this name here, Shree.
All right, I just punched into WVE as it came back into this 10 exponential. Look, there is a seller of note at 17. There has been many many touches into that 17 as well as above that $17 area with no continuation. As you can see, 17.05, that is the high of the day and nothing better than that. So here's what the deal. We're in at 42. And I'm going to DCA into 16. Small positions is how I'm going to do this. If I get in the big position all at once, I don't have that much room for risk, so I will get into some trouble. So this is going to be one of those ones where if it goes without me getting some more DCAs like now, wow, rocketing up. Okay, we got 42s. We just took out 72s as this one held the 10 EMA quite aggressively. We don't have the full position, full disclosure. So we're not going to be taking out too much too quickly over here. So we're going to let's load up. We got 42s as I mentioned. So next level 88, and then the one above that is going to be above 17. 17. Let's say 17.25. Well, that's 20 pennies above the high of the day. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at right now. My move into this one though is to add some into the $16 area if it does break down. So it's going to be like little entries all the way down into 16. So the next entry, since we have 42s, will be at 33s for an add there, and then we'll go even a little bit lower into that, and we'll sit mid-teens for an add there. That's trade number one, WVE. Let's see if this one has the strength to break through the high. We're going to go to Adara in a second, but I want to let you know that we got a trade here on IMMP. We just broke below $3 momentarily. Two bottoming tail candles showing buyers are stepping in at 3. What I'm waiting for here to add more is the first 5-minute candle will make a new high. We'll see what that one does. For the moment, we're going to pause and go to Adara with breaking news.
Keep an eye here on AAPL. We heard earlier that someone in their chips department was leaving the company. Now, apparently, the chief of Apple is telling staff that he is not leaving anytime soon. So some updates here. Looks like at the very least, the lead of Apple's chip department says he has no intentions of leaving again. This is just a report. If I get more details, I'll let you know. Sounds like he is planning on staying with the company. We also have the Bureau of Labor Statistics just now saying they're not going to be publishing PPI data for the month of October. Back to you.
Yeah, interesting take on that Apple headline this morning. We'll get more on that on the rundown. Apparently, it is one of those situations where they don't want too many people at the high level leaving because they don't know how long Timmy C is going to be there. So they don't want to run out of internals in order to be able to replace him. So many different things to talk about on that story. We'll get to it on the rundown. Joey.
Yes, sir.
What are you looking at?
Yeah, same thing here, guys. I'm just keeping an eye out on SMR. You can see that we're down 0.5% roughly on the intraday session. And essentially what I got going on here, guys, is I'm free rolling. So when I had this ad, if it comes back to my break even, then I'll just get out of the trade. So I'm actually not risking any more of my of the capital. It's essentially just all of my unrealized gains with this addition here. So looking for the breakdown, and we're going to continuously hold this as we're slowly starting to curl over. Struggling at 2120 though. And once again, I mentioned it, if we have the ability to break it, I think we'll be able to head into 2110s. I'll probably take it some out at 15s if I do get the opportunity to do so. It's just taking quite some time to break down. We can look at it from a daily as well. So we're now at the lower end of this range. So I would be surprised if it does take some time to get down there. And if it breaks, watch out for that retest of $20. I was talking to a guy from work. His username is literally a guy from work. I said, yeah, there might be
you are at work.
No.
I'm so confused.
His username is literally a guy at work. And I'm like, yeah, man, if it comes back into 20, I think there's a good potential buy. Use $18 as your out, because that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm slowly starting to build into this position. But come on, let's go breakdown. You can do it, as much as I don't want to do, because I am long in the personal swing account. Now, as for the overall market, guys, you can see this waterfall type price action here on Tesla. So we're starting to come down into that 439. We'll take a look at it from a daily to see what we got going on. So yeah, just another attempt to head right into near these all-time highs, but just rejecting it. So it might take a little bit more time than what we're expecting. There's multiple bottoming signals in the overall market that have been rejected on multiple occasions. So this, I thought, was going to be a nice, solid long position. I don't know if the algo picked this one up, but it definitely picked it up on SPY. But if we continuously see more buying pressure on a base being formed around 623, you might get somewhat of a rebound. But what I'm just seeing from the intraday price action here today, I don't know if it's going to be a full recovery on the session. I could be totally wrong. Only time will tell. But heading back to this SMR, guys, mind you, it's not saying I'm in anything, but I am in SMR. I just haven't made any transactions. I'm waiting for a new low to be established. And then once that happens, we'll piece a little bit out, and then my position will be fully displayed there.
Fully displayed. All right, guys, we just got 88s on Wave. I'm going to be calling this Wave. WVE, look, there's a seller in the mid to high 80s. I got 88s, but as I was watching the price action develop a little bit more here, it looks like the seller is mostly at 82s, a little above 82, a little bit below. Alas, we are now in the mid 70s. This candle does have a higher low. The candle that just closed on the 5-minute chart did hold the 10 EMA. So I've got my next profit taker at the lofty price of 17.25. By definition, that will have to create a new area high, a new intraday high for me to get printed. But I perceive this to be sort of a possible flat top break candidate. Let's bring in the black charts and do a little bit more of a nuanced analysis. We've had many different prints reject off 17. Take a look at that. Since around 10:30, we've been knocking on the door of that $17 level, and sometimes they open, Katina Man, and sometimes they don't, quite frankly, with the only opening time was that 17.05 print. But what kept me motivated and what kept me interested in this name are the higher lows, as well as the clean holding, I should say, of the 10 EMA on the 5. That doesn't mean it's going to last forever. There's a distinct possibility that this could break down. These are small cap gappers. You have to be ready for the unexpected. Otherwise, you're just going to get caught with your pants down, quite frankly, okay? So let's see what this one does. We're still holding a piece here for the dream. Mid-80s, 90s now, Joey, showing up. 94, I just saw momentarily there, but we're still below 17 as that 17 seller still dampening of everybody's long party over here. So we'll pack the patience. Mid-90s showing up again, but every time the mid-90s show up, they are sold into. So pack the patience here. You'll notice that none of the cyan lines or circles on my white charts have printed because those are my dip trades, which didn't activate because the price action didn't come down far enough to trigger them. So we're going to be keeping an eye out on that. But there's many other ones I want to mention. IMP, the one I'm involved in right now. Let's see if this one can work its way back above $3. It did price spike down, so I did get a little bit more on this bad boy. So we've got 99s now as opposed to 03s. We're going to be keeping a close eye out on that. Mid-90s, 90, there's 17, Joey. Okay, so 17 just showed up. Now all hell breaks loose to the downside as everybody's sell order triggers, or the shorts see the same thing I'm seeing, but they're just thinking in the opposite. There it goes, boom, into 17.25. Put your resting orders on the freaking screen. It spent all of 1.25 seconds there, less than that. There was no way, Joseph, I would have got that 17.25 print had I not had a resting order. WVE rocketing into the upside, so it's now a new high day, 1730 on WVE, up 130%. Let's see what else this one has to offer. Packing the patience on this one. There's a new high, Joey, 1740. The gas is the accelerator now. We got to switch to the EV life now. We just can't be saying gas no more, my boy. The accelerator is pushed all the way down. It's a 1745 high. The breakout is on right now on WVE, but be careful trading it. It will rip your face off and break your heart. In there. Ooh. Keeping an eye on IMP, Joey. This one's doing bupkis. But now that we've taken some prints off, rip my stash off, says Hypercube. Why did he even block that comment? That comment's hilarious, dude. Sorry, I'm just trying to show it. Users' messages will be hidden. No.
Accidental block.
Unhide user on this channel. There we go. My bad, Biggie. I screwed up there, brother. I was trying to unblock his message. I ended up blocking your name. All right. We're keeping an eye as well on CETX. I see a lot of you guys saying CETX. Look, these ones, I'm going to say it again, and I don't care how annoying I sound. They're around for a good time, not a long time. And this is exactly what CTX embodies here. Right at 4 a.m., it's all gas, no brakes. And by the time 6 a.m. came along, where we were up, Joey, on CETX, 335%. Alas, since we made that high at around 6 a.m., we're all the way down 67% off the highs. So to me, this is a short party and I wouldn't be looking long. It's just not my style to take these ones long below the volume weighted average price. But CETX definitely in focus for you guys. I got to get focused, Joey, because the fact of the matter is IMMP just filled me at 280, and this is going to be my line in the sand. If 270 loses, I'm out. Reason being, that's I perceive the first breakout from the first bull flag, I should say, to be around 270. So that's going to be my line of sand. Let's see over here. We got 93s on, popping back into the mid 80s. Let's put some profit takers in the low 90s, sorry, high 90s, as well as low 3s for a move back up here on IMMP. It is not a good look here for IMMP, quite frankly. Since that 1050 candle, it's been all red. That 1050 candle is a topping tail candle, so be on the lookout for that. WVE is all gas, no brakes, Joey. 1771, it's about to take out 18. Keep your eye out on this one.
All right, guys. Yeah, good looks there, Sharif. We're still sitting in this SMR trade, free rolling. It doesn't want to break down just yet, but I do see some selling pressure in the 15-minute candle and the 5-minute. And shout out to John Baker, who mentioned Microsoft this morning as it's going opposite the total market, like big-time Oppo here as it's climbing and trading around its intraday highs. Come on, SMR, you don't want to break down? That's all right, man. We're not going to complain about that. But let's take a look at some of the top-performing sectors here, guys. The tech sector up 0.4%. Ooh, and the rest is a lot of red. So you're down 0.01, so relatively flat in the industrials. You're down 1/3% here in the real estate sector. And then as for the energy, you're down 0.8. Healthcare 0.8 as well, too. And the consumer discretionary, you're down 1.42, being led by the likes of Tesla. Selling, what is Amazon up to as well, too, guys? We'll take a look at what those names are up. But as long as we hold this range, hopefully we can get a new low into 2114. That would be absolutely amazing. Once again, I am in a position, guys, you just can't see it yet. So hood going Oppo as well, but looks like it wants to sell up to $135. You know we love this name without unconditionally. Is that a little intense? Maybe, I think so. But anyways, at the end of the day, a nice bounce off of this $100 low, now starting to climb back to the top side. But SMR not wanting to participate. Choppy stuff here, guys. Not wanting to go down and create that additional leg. We have that turtle shell type price action come right back into that 2120, bounce off of it, and then it's been a steady grind to the top side. One thing that I do want to know is look at the volume by time profile. So as we start to get somewhat of a rebound, look how low the volume is. So this is what's helping me hold on. Oh, okay, no, there it goes. It's starting to break higher now. Probably going to absorb more liquidity. It's these NYSE boys. It's always a little bit more difficult, in my opinion, to trade NYSE stocks. There's a lot of fugazi going on. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. They'll wait, they're patient, and then eventually they'll make their move relatively quick. But in the meantime, it's just chop, 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 and then we get those downside moves. So I don't have much room left here on SMR as we're slowly giving back our unrealized gains. So we will not take a loss on this name whatsoever. But if we break down, we are going to be having a solid party, all right? Let's take a look at our volume scanner as well to see what we got going on this front. Stock scanner and some of the top volume names this morning, obviously with certain criteria. CFLT at the top of the list with 102 million shares traded. It's looking like a buyout. I know Neil might be keeping his eyes out on that one. And then also we have WVE, Sharif trading that one. This one's going bonkers. Yeah, I know. That's a place in New York City, isn't it?
What?
Or it's Yonkers. It's Yonkers. Yonkers is a place in the city.
It is.
Yonkers. All right, so maybe we'll just call it that. So up 119% on your intraday session. NVDA, guys, with 61.7 million shares traded. And then we have Warner Brothers Discovery starting to form somewhat of a bull flag. But if that $27.44 breaks, watch out. We're going to take a look at this from a daily. Oh, my days. This is insane. Yeah, that's some cool price action, man. From the April low, Sharif, you're up a whopping 267%, and Warner Brothers Discovery, so that's looking pretty good. But what isn't is Netflix. I'm like, hey, one thing or the other is going to happen with Netflix here this morning. as obviously as it may sound, you're either going to go up or go down, but this selling is substantially coming in. I bought some in around 101, not looking good, but we'll grab a little bit more. I'm glad that we started slow on this one.
All right, keeping an eye here on WVE. I'm trying to work my way back into this one as none of my resting dip trades filled because it's just too strong. So it's almost an $18 high. We were talking about this one as a flat top break candidate through 17. That feels like a long time ago because now it feels like 18 is on the way up here. We're showing $quarter. So look, prior bar low is 1663. We're at 1787 right now, so I can't base anything on prior bar low. We're gonna have to use something a little bit more short scale or smaller scale is what I'm trying to say there. So what I'm doing is I'm loading up the 5-second chart on my top screen to kind of just see where the local areas of resistance and support are. There does seem to be some resistance at around 17 3/4. If that comes into there, I could pick it up. Otherwise, it looks like it's being bought up off the 50 EMA on the 5-second chart. That currently shows me 1770. But it looks like more likely that this one will break 18 before it dips back into any of those levels. 1795 high right now. Great strength on this one. Look, IMMP is disappointing me. It is all red right now, no gas at all, no green candles coming in. We've had nothing green since the topping tail candle at 1050. So this one is breaking down. If it loses 70, that's it. That's the end of the trade, and we'll give back on this one. But I'm not going to be DCing until I see some green candles come in. I just realized we haven't brought in the side charts to talk about what else we've got on there other than WVE and IMMP. GPCR. Not a bad looker. It's up 93% on the day, but it's really calmed the hell down here ever since popping off at 8 a.m. That's when it really started doing volume. The biggest volume candles, though, came at around 10 after 10, and this one rocketed up off that $35 close on Friday with a 94.90 high. Very, very strong, but it is now in the process of what it looks to be making lower highs as well as possibly lower lows. Watch out for a loss of $62 or $62.50. That could be trouble. It's at VWAP right now, but it doesn't get traded by me unless it breaks above 72.25. I need to see a new area high, and that new area high comes above this double top over here at 1055. What the actual bad freaking word. There goes WVE, Joey, into 1823. Rocketing up here through. I'm not getting nothing on this, man. None of my dip trades are filling. Some of them, you know, it works the dip trade system. Some of them are just way too strong as people are piling in hand over fist, and you're not getting the opportunity to get back into key technical areas. So WVE really rocketing up here. Keep your eye out on that one. But we'll go on with the analysis. GPCR in focus for me. KYMR, very strong, up over 50%, Joseph, as it just took out that $100. It's a 103 area high. It's quite expensive, and I want to say for the most part, it is kind of a little illiquid. On the day, it's only done 4 1/3 million shares, and I shouldn't say only, it's a $100 name, so that's a good amount for a small cap gapper. It does seem to find support at VWAP when it does make a move in, but those opportunities are few and far between. CETX, I've already mentioned. FULC looked really good initially, but as you can see, multiple topping tail candles. So by definition, or by default, I should say, this one is under suspicion. It's under investigation until otherwise noted. What do I mean by that? That means as soon as this bad boy makes an area high, I'm going to be looking for a mean reversion trade. It did it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. Can we get an 8th over here? So huge topping tail candles on FULC. Ironically, though, it is making a higher lows. IBIO, this one was quite strong to start the day here. I want to say in the pre-market really made its intraday high at 920, Joey, and then it lost the volume weighted average price. Now it's working back up above VWAP, trying to get back above $2, but this one's under probation as well until it can reach that 240-ish area and take out the pre-market highs. OCUL not doing much, up 27%, Joey. It looks like a flat top breakthrough, possibly 16.
Nice, good look there, guys. Yeah, so what happened here on SMR is I had a stop out, so you can see that where my entry is where this prior thing is. So I had a stop order out and I forgot to cancel it, and then it filled me, and then now you're starting to climb higher. I have no issues with that because this wasn't a planned trade or anything. So we'll take a small W on that, nothing whatsoever. But the market is slowly starting to turn around. Go Robinhood, go, as we trade up to $135.65. Breaking through a lot of resistance zones and the pre-market high. So keep an eye out on Robinhood, guys, as this thing is really starting to pick up.
Your boy was on the compound, eh?
What was he saying?
Yeah, he's saying a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's got a lot going.
You know what he said, Joey? He's like that, incident with when they had to shut down the buy button on, or the sell button, excuse me, on GameStop.
Yeah.
Like that day or two, and like how bad it was nothing compared to the pain, the prolonged pain that he had to suffer through 2022. It's an excellent listen.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to what he has to say.
It's kind of the brand damage, I guess, from
just
that.
him, bro. His company, they really suffered. 2022 killed him.
I mean, at the end of the day, I read a little bit up on it. It wasn't even necessarily Robinhood, wasn't it? The market makers were like, who shut it down on him?
It was basically
so
like
it wasn't actually the app. It was the exchanges that kind of were like, hey,
he was just like, like I was not colluding with anybody, right? And especially with them who don't have like very similar business interests, according to him, whether you agree with them or not.
Yeah, but you know what, man? I like glow up Vlad because when he got his haircut and everything, I think he's a straight shooter. Before,
I like him.
Yeah, long hair, not so much a straight shooter. Short hair, straight shooter. Adara, what do you got for us?
Got a couple different stories here. Keep an eye on NEE. This one, we know they had a Google tie-up earlier today. Now I'm seeing reports they're going to be partnering with Comstock on up to 8 gigawatts of new gas generation. Apparently, NextEra is actually already in talks with the major hyperscaler in order to provide said power. PayPal also on watch after Logic Broker announces a strategic partnership with the company. PYPL not really reacting to this news. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Adara. Someone in the chat was asking me TSL long. I just don't know if it's going to be the day. If it is, it's going to probably take some time in order for things to turn around. There's no buyers stepping in whatsoever. We're trading around $438 right now, and it looks like we want to break through these lows. There's a lot of bottoming signals in the overall market as well. I mean, with Microsoft continuing to climb higher, I'm surprised that the Qs aren't stronger than what they are. I haven't even looked at AMD or NVDA, Amazon, Google, or even Apple today. Because why? From last night, over the weekend, I had a game plan. There was 3 names that I was going to come in and keep my eyes on, and that was going to be Netflix, SMR, and IBIT. IBIT not doing what we want to still, so we avoided that, and we're like, hey, all right, let's see if we can get some moves here on new scale power. That's going to be SMR, and then we took some attempts on Tesla just due to that pre-market selling, and then sure enough, I thought we would have got a breakthrough VWAP, break of the pre-market highs as well, to around $450, and then a continuation to the downside. So we didn't even get that pop that I was somewhat anticipating. It's just straight down, now trading at 437.94s, and then we have SMR just chopping around, not doing too much either. But what I'm referring to here, guys, is this a little bit of buying pressure. But see, I think it's really important to know that when we have sessions like this, for me, it's as obvious to say that sellers are in charge, and those pops are just immediately being sold right off. So if you're seeing these pops and they're not being sustained, and on the lower time frames, you see the volume slowly start to cool and diverge from what price action's doing, right? So you have price going up, volume going down, that's the divergence. Then look for those pops and then get involved to the downside. Why? Look, I had a long bias this morning, and then I flipped short on SMR, and so far it's been our best trade of the day, and we're going to continuously look for these pops to get faded in today's intraday price action session, what I'm trying to get. Adara, what do you got for us?
Nice pop for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac here. Michael Burry announcing that his post on FNMA and FMCC is going to go live tomorrow. FNMA pushing much higher here on this news. Take a look here as well at PSKY and WBD. Paramount now saying that their tender offer for Warner Brothers is going to be open for 20 days and that WBD will have 10 days to respond to this offer. Back to you.
Think of that.
Yeah. And it's, what is that, a 5 minute too?
That's a 5.
And
It's always
sometimes
5,
it's,
yeah.
and sometimes it's painful to wait for that candle to close.
Because you can be
Quick,
painful because you can get caught on a down haul.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to show you what Joseph and I are talking about. Got back in to WVE. I got in 1787. We scalped into the freaking high a day. I actually have 33s. The day high, 32s. The day high is 34. But I had to flatten out for the last remaining amount. Why'd I do that? Because this crap happened over here. Let me put it on the 1 so you can kind of see it a little bit better. It just, you're unsure how to trade this when this thing, when it does like this. So rockets up into that new high a day, then immediately makes a new area low, which is actually below where I got in, despite the fact that we're almost 50 pennies in the money. So this is the 1 minute chart on WVE, by the way. I had to flip to the 1 to show you exactly that move up and then that move down. These candles look like the inverse of one another. One's green with a topping tail candle, one's red with a bottoming tail candle. So yeah, this is where I struggle a little bit. When we make new area highs like this, but then there's an immediate flush. I was telling Joseph while Adira was giving us the update, I always struggle with, do I take that opportunity on the flush to add into the position because it's a micro pullback and that will give me a fundamentally better dollar cost average, or is that the beginning of the end, especially into a key technical area like 18, which is always a bit, you never really know with these whole dollars, right? So that's where I seem to struggle the most on these small cap gappers, just sharing some of my thoughts. If I'm struggling with it, there must be other people as well out there with a very similar issue. So anyway, this one's got 2 topping tail candles now through 18, and if this candle closes red, that to me is not the recipe for a setup right now. So I'll be waiting for the 10 EMA or 17. Recall that we have a bias here that $17 is a flat top break. Was a flat top break, As a result, that means it's a key area of technical resistance, and as a result of that, let's see now if it acts as a key area of technical support now, having been breached by $1.34. So WVE very much in focus for me. I flattened out on that hot garbage IMMP as this one just can't seem to catch a bid. So we're going to be focusing on WVE as well as some others. FULC is interesting to me as well. As I mentioned, this one seems to have a tendency to price spike up quite aggressively into an area high, then almost immediately revert back down and then make higher lows. So we're kind of like right in the middle of the price action, around 14, a quarter 14. If you gauge 13 as an area of support and you have another bias like I do here of 15 as an area resistance, well, we're kind of in the middle of that, and I don't mind a price spike up through to 15 and a quarter or whatever. This one's a little bit more expensive, FULC, it's around 14 and a quarter dollars, but it is setting up decently here, so I think I might work my way into that. US stock trader R, what does that mean? 19, what does that R equals 1998 WVE mean? What does that mean? RSI? Tag me, US stock trader, explain what you mean there, brother.
R equals 19.
Yeah.
Resistance, maybe.
Wow, just heard what?
Resistance.
I have no idea what Roland Joe. What are you talking about, Roland Joe, man? I didn't say any bad words, man.
Wow, just heard you.
I don't know, man. All right, WVE looks like it's got a bottoming tail candle, Joey, trying to take out 18 again. A lot of bamboozlement on WVE. You're going to have to watch this one closely here. I don't mind getting back in, but it's got to set up the right way.
All right, man. Good luck. So we're going to take one more attempt here on Tesla to see what we got going on. Same narrative, guys. 10 cents worth of risk. So I'm in at 14s. We're out at 04. If it doesn't want to rock and roll, then by all means, look at this move here back in SMR, right back to the volume-weighted average price starting to pick up a little steam. I like our chances we can break. I mean, we've been selling for pretty much an hour and a half here, 2 hours into the market, getting that downgrade by Morgan Stanley.
Morgan was pooping on everybody today. Everybody in EV world got some today.
Yeah, they woke up and chose violence today, which is crazy. Hey, man, if you like violence, you have to go and watch last weekend's UFC. A lot of violence there, man. A lot of good stuff as well. So, all right, guys, let's go, let's take a look at what we got going on. I mean, I shouldn't even really be in this right now just due to the fact that I took my attempts on it, but one more stab and then we'll avoid it. You can see we're in at 1914s. We're gonna get out right at the break of the low of the day, and it looks like it wants to head in that specific direction. And then we can also correlate it with the daily. There's no real bounce signals there, Sharif. So yeah, that's what it is. We'll sit in this until proven wrong. But other than that, guys, Adara, what do you got for us?
What I have, guys, is a crypto update. I'm going to take a look here at COIN because we did have some news for Coinbase coming out of India this morning. India, I guess now will have access to Coinbase again because they reopened registration in India following a 2-year operational hiatus. Actually, a little bit more than 2 years. It looks like it started in May of 2022. But this actually allows Coinbase to return to India, which is the world's second largest internet market. Apparently, Coinbase also plans on introducing fiat currency integration by 2026. So, yeah, it sounds like here, September 2023 marked Coinbase's entire withdrawal from India, that they started actually suspending trading service in India in May of 2022. So this has been like a 2 to 3 year-long process. Now, after 2 full years of suspension and full withdrawal, now they're coming back. So interesting look there. Apparently, this suspension initially began in May of 2022 because, according to Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong, there was some, quote, informal pressure from the Reserve Bank of India. Looks like they're back. Let's see how COIN fares. But right now, decent recovery for the stock from intraday lows. Let's take a look here at BTC on the daily chart. Seeing some higher lows here from that collapse there on Friday, November 21st. Continuing to see these higher lows and pseudo higher highs right now, though. Crypto running into some resistance here. Bitcoin running into some resistance at 92.5. Let's see if we're able to push above that level because right now, bit of a rejection. We'll take a look here at Ethereum, see what Ethereum's doing. They're actually looking a little bit better than Bitcoin. Still seeing these higher lows on the daily from that November 21st low. Some higher highs as well, though. And unlike what we're seeing with Bitcoin, there's not really any immediate resistance right now for Ethereum. Just has to get over this hump around 32 halves. Back to Sharif and Joe.
Stuff. Yeah, as for Bitcoin here, Sharif, I'm thinking.
What's the coin up to, Joey?
It's at 90K right now.
Oh, it's ranging. Okay.
Yeah,
so every time we're coming in, it's in the high 80s, low 90s.
Yeah.
To me.
So as long as we hold this specific level, so we got this trend line here. Adara was just mentioning that. But if we crack 80, I think things are going to get absolutely disastrous. And then that's when you're going to head into that next level, which is probably potentially around 72, 68. So yeah, you're going to get into that area. But other than that, if we continuously hold up, break of this trend could be pretty disastrous as well too if things slowly start to turn around and we don't continue this grind back up into 100K. That's kind of what I'm looking at here. So yeah, I mean, by all means, let's go crypto space. I wrote in the chat actually this morning, if we don't get that bounce in the next coming weeks to 100K, I think that it's going to take some time for it to get a full recovery. And I mean, heading into the summer, to be honest with you, because we know for an extended period of time, it takes a long time for this thing to move. We went into an 8-month consolidation at one point, and then after that, it was multi-months as well too. But there it goes, the hooded one, Sharif, up to 136.40 and still continuing to climb higher. Go Robinhood, go. I know you got some banger trades on too.
Yeah, no, I want to get more into that, Joey, because it was a long discussion. He said a lot. About the hood. With Vlad, he's on the compound there. You know, they had the white glove treatment for him. You know, they're getting big. I'm talking about the compound, but you still feel, you know, when they have somebody big come in, they give him sort of that special treatment. It's more organized. No, we can't talk about this yet. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. You know, we've got that planned. Whereas, you know, when they have the regular guests on, it's just more informal and less of a white glove discussion, if I can put it that way. Guys, WVE is a freaking rocket ship at the moment, man. 1851, shout out to Neil for calling this one earlier. 1851, high a day. It is, guys, there's really no breaches of the 10 EMA, wick or otherwise since the candle at 10:05, and that barely wicked below the 10 EMA. That's how strong this one is. The trend still very much intact. As Adair was giving us that update, I took an 18 long, scalped up into 1840s. Then, of course, it proceeded to make a new area high into 1851. So very, very strong WVE. I mean, the obvious suggestion here is pick it up off the 10 EMA when it comes into the 10 EMA, and then your stop is a decisive close below the 10 EMA. I'd wait for that red candle to close below the 10 moving average on the 5 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart before I would get out to this one. There it goes again, Joseph, 1857, high of day. There's more coming because we're showing 57s, it's 58s, and I'm gonna sound like an auctioneer, it's 63s. The breakout is on right now on WVE. You had a couple of topping tail candles though, through the breach of 18, so that, you know, probably got a lot of people a little bit hesitant as they were like, oh, look, the shorts are setting up in front of a key psychological level. But this one feels like it is headed to $20, whether it gets to 20 or in and around 20, you know, high 19s. We'll have to wait and see. But my move on this one is going to be first, what do we do when we drop back down into 18? You know, if we touch 19, whatever, do we come back down to 18? Does 18 hold? If it doesn't, my next move is to look at the 10 EMA, which is currently trading at around 17 high 50s, 17 low 60s. That is, of course, a dynamic level, so it'll be changing as the price action develops. But shout out to Chuck of all trades. He got in on FULC at 14.50. So he's 50 pennies in the freaking money. Me, I'm just watching. I'm watching it go up, Joey. I didn't punch in, but this one's got higher low, so I really want to take a move at a smaller entry here on FULC, and I'd love a breakthrough $15. Technically on the day, it is a 14.87 high a day, but take a look at the close. The pre-market highs are all around 16.50. So this one is a little dicey for me, though, as it does breach a rule of not taking one of these small cap gappers below the pre-market high. It had plenty of prints above the current day's high in the pre-market. Chuck got in at 14.20. My bad, brother. I thought you got in at 14. A good entry nonetheless, because you have accumulation here in front of the $half, and it feels like, you never really know, but it feels like until just a moment in time until those $half sellers get decimated and you print up several storms on your side of the screen. Ozan, I'm cracking.
Bro, what?
I think you mean you're cracking up. Every time you say FULC, especially with the FU part. Hey, brother, I mean, what am I supposed to do? That's the ticker, Joey. FULC is a ticker. I can't, I'm not at liberty to change it, but FULC wants to take out 14.50. Your boy Chuck of all trades would be happy, as well as myself. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that.
Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, what a grinder we're in here on TSLL. We're going to be holding this for a 2-to-1, so we're going to have to wait for 34s. And so it's either 34s, we slowly start piecing it out, or we get stopped out at 04, right? So one way or the other, we're calm, cool, collected, just like a cucumber. We're starting to see a little bit more selling in SMR. I had my eyes on IRBT as well this morning, as that's been selling pretty aggressively. And then we have Rich Tech Robotics. I've seen a couple people in the chat mention this name, but boom, there it goes. Let's go. Let's see if we can get to a 1-to-1 here momentarily. Boom, 1-to-1. Oh, big knockout by our boy Frank Martin this weekend.
Oh, is that the dude
one
that I
you
sent you?
Yeah. That's who. That's
straight right hand.
Boom, straight.
Send Buddy into a nap.
And then Lamont Roach fought.
That was an ugly fight.
Did you versus like Isak Cruz? Yeah, it wasn't a good fight.
I'm not a big fan of Pitbull, bro. I like punchers. I like punchers, but his style is not for me.
You don't like that, eh?
No, he always like wide overhand.
Yeah, that's his style.
God bless him, man. He's a hell of a fighter.
What happened though? He took a knee though. He got
clipped, bro.
Oh, and then he was smiling.
Pitbull started celebrating, and it was like hilarious.
No, not Mr. Worldwide.
Not Mr.
Worldwide. No,
Chilean
Pitbull
Nightmare,
Cruz, my boy. So no, here it is, guys. Nice steady grind higher up in Tesla. If the market wants to participate, maybe we can get a move. But we're not at that 1-to-1 yet. Even though we are slightly in the money, we're going to be patient. I'm going to have to sit through a lot of turbulence in Tesla in order to get that price target. But considering we have been selling, we'll pull up on the 5-minute. It's just better to see, oh, okay, this is even a better signal on the 5-minute. Bang, a nice bottoming tail candle. Now at an extreme low. Volume print, largest that we've seen since 10:55. So about 30 minutes or so. I like our chances. We're going to continuously hold on. It's either make it or break it at this point. Take a look at SMR as we reject the volume-weighted average price to the T. I'm happy for this name to continue to climb higher, but you can see that selling pressure. So some topping tail candles right there, and then now you're starting to come back in a little there, guys.
Have you looked at NEE as a sympathy play? So they have a headline today with goggles. Next Era Energy. So
oh, really? Yeah, I'll take a look at it. I'd rather have
it's not at the day high, it's down, Joey. It's
rather
down
than NNE up here than
Next Era Energy. Always, every time I read this, I think about like the Next Era.
What would you say it was? NNE?
NEE, excuse me.
Oh, NE, yeah, so yeah, nano-nuclear is, that's a name.
Yeah, that's another one, I didn't actually mean that. Yeah, no, NEE.
Yeah, okay, Next Era Energy, nice.
All right, guys, I'm in Fulcrum over here, FULC. We're long 55s. I wet the beak at 69. I'm waiting for the next profit taker, 77s. Now, alas, it did actually get in to, I believe, 73, but didn't quite make it up into 77. So I have some DCAs into this one to try to take some price spikes down and get a bit of a better price. Showing me 62s right now, and I'm looking for a move into 15 ideally, but it looks like we're getting some selling right now in the high 60s. Here comes 65. We're seeing a whole bunch of prints come in on the time and sales at 65, but nothing breaching that level. That automatically means to me that there's a hidden seller at 65 because you only got one lot posted on all the gateways at 65 pennies. So continuing to watch as that hidden seller or short seller continues to enter or take profits at these levels. We're not getting anything above 65 right now on FULC, up 65%. 65 featuring here, Joey, is an important number. So 65 continuing to reject. Keeping my eye out on that one. So, yeah, nothing doing quite yet. Somebody else in the chat told me they shorted WVE at the top. Good. I hope you print, okay? I'm not really looking at trading against anybody in our chat, and I always hope everybody does really well. But I just don't see the signal for me to say, look, right now, this is the short on WV. I could be wrong. Maybe because I don't short these, and so I'm not really attuned to when it really is ready to go down. But my typical rules are, it takes a price action above VWAP to get me long. It'll take price action below VWAP to get me short with these small cap gappers, but we'll wait and see. For now, we're going to pause and go to Adara.
I have some news here in the critical metals space. CRML moving higher here. This is critical metals. U.S. Greenland Joint Committee is releasing a statement saying that the U.S. and Greenland look forward to building on the momentum in the year ahead and strengthening their ties to support a secure and prosperous Arctic region. This story seems to be pushing CRML a little bit higher. Back to you.
The L2 for not moving.
No, this is legit. This is a regular price action, Joey. Yeah. Okay. There's a monster seller here, for goodness sake, at 1465 on FULC, and that same seller is there. And the price, and look at the amount of size coming in, 1508. You got this one over here. They're not too big. Okay, so are we getting a print here above? I just saw 66s momentarily, but nothing on the level 2, just on the time and sales. So that 65 seller still pretty much strong. Fluffy Hippo didn't go into PHG. Thanks for saving money. So my rules, Fluffy, because you were calling out a small cap gapper-ish style, and it was red on the day. Typically what I'm looking for is something's got to be green on the day. So that's step number 1, typically, because it's on my percentage up gap scanner. And then I'm looking for, is it trading above the volume weighted average price? It's not a hard and fast rule, but to me, that says that the longs are in control. It's not a hard and fast statement. It is a rule of mine. That the longs are in control. It might not be true. The sellers could be in control above VWAP, but it just makes it more likely than not that the sellers are not in control if the price is above VWAP. More likely than not, but not for sure anyway. And then if it's above the pre-market high, or if it's below the pre-market high, I should say, I try to stay away from it as well. So I think both conditions, one condition was met. It was trading above VWAP for that one you were talking about, but it was below the pre-market high as it was still negative on the day. Joey, look at this. I want you to look. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
All of those.
Heavy
what did it say?
defense.
65, 65. There's a zillion freaking orders coming in on FULC at 65, and that seller has a ton of shares.
Yeah, but see, dude, that's what drives me nuts sometimes, because when you're looking at something like that, Sharif, I'm like, who is this individual? I'm like, man, I wish tickers had their own chats so I could be like, whoever this clown is continuously. It happens to me all the time. I remember a while ago, Neil and I were talking about IBIT. He's like, yeah, dude, there's a seller at a specific price. Every time it touched that level, flush down, climbs back up. Flush down. I'm like, who is this person? And don't let me get a hold of you, because I would just like, that would drive me nuts. But no, but yeah, man, all fun and games. But here it is, guys. It's the exact same thing that's kind of happening here on Tesla. We keep running into this 1920 level on TSLL and rejecting aggressively. So boom, and there you go, another flush to the downside. If the market does put an additional leg lower, then this trade's going to be in a world of trouble, and we are not going to be able to take any profits on it. I like our chances, man. So we're just trying to put on the right trades at the right time. Indecision print off of those lows after the excessive selling in the morning. You get that downgrade by Morgan Stanley and company, but that's a positive sign, right? Like we push right back down into 1960, and then we climb a little bit higher. So yeah, not too bad. Other than that, guys, we're big chilling. We're going to be looking for some other opportunities. If there's any specific names that you want us to take a look at, then just put it in the chat. I'm already seeing some Duolingo, D-U-O-L. Let's pull up Duolingo. Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, how come that is not pulling it up? Yeah, there it is. Let's pull up Duolingo.
Pull up
and see how, up to 207 there, Sharif. Going opposite the overall market here is Duolingo. And look at this.
Must be my subscriction.
Yeah. Hey, man, you just got the premium, the family plan.
$100-something, Joey. Like $150 for the year.
Off the low. Oh, really?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's for the year.
Yeah, that's all right. But there it is, $164. You're bouncing off of that level now, trading up to approximately 207. But not too bad, not too bad. You had that head and shoulders pattern, broke the neckline. Look at the volume step in on this bad boy. And then it was just off to the races to the downside, heading into 163. But not a nice little recovery. We're not going to call it anything substantial whatsoever. NNE, we're looking at that one. Still got our eyes on Tesla. There goes IBIT looking to putting in an additional leg lower. Oh, man. This poor asset class, man. I don't even feel bad for Michael Saylor, to be honest with you. But anyways, there it is. 4193s might be a potential level here on Bitcoin in the near future, Sharif.
I like your vibes, U.S. stock trader.
What are you saying?
He's funny, man. He's like, some call me the legend, some call me the Falcon. See, WVE 1992, the level. I like it. I like it, my man.
The Falcon, we need some context. That's quick.
I don't know, man, but it's Fulcrum, get it? Falcon, Fulcrum, Falcon, I don't know, Falcon, Fulcrum. Joey, we got above 65 here on the level 2. Ironically enough, when we did, the spread opened up, and it was like 69 on the ask, and then like mid-50s on the bid. So I'm wondering what exactly is going on over here, but FULC, I've got a plan for. I see higher lows. I'm going to be picking up some higher lows. I already have my DCA there to defend 1440. I'll be defending this into the volume weighted average price, which is I think 1410 or 14 single digits. Keep your eye out on this one. I also want to mention KYMR. It's more expensive, but it's about to take out the pre-market high, or sorry, about to take out the day high. And it's looking real good, man. The deeper retracement went into the 20, it held the 20 like a glove, and it had done that before. So this one looks like it has an affinity for the 20, which could be because the algorithm that is trading it, that is buying it up, is basing a lot of what it's doing off the 20. Hard to know, but just we can pick up on patterns. It did it at 9:20 to 9:30. It did it again over here from 10:35 to about 11:05, and then up we go, trying to take out 102. It is a 103 area high, and this thing's up 52 1/3%. So I think I want to weasel my way in right at that 10 EMA if I can. We're going to keep an eye out on this one, and we'll see what happens. Okay, FULC just dipped down, filled me at 40s. So now we have to be careful here. We can't get caught too aggressive on this one, but this is part of my plan. So we wanted to pick up some into the volume weighted average price, which showed me around 1410. So we're going to do just that by going all the way down and front running it, of course, right? Because if you're going to wait at 10s, number one, the moving average, the volume weighted average price is a dynamic level, so it's going to move up as the price action develops because it's 61% on the day. Number two, it gets to be a crowded trade if you're waiting right at that 10 penny level, right? 14.10. So if you end up waiting there, you may not get the fill as others front run you, just like I'm doing by waiting at 15s and 16s. So we got 46s on right now, showing me 49s, but I'm definitely looking for a move into 15 and then taking out of that 1487. We're going to have to pack our patience. WVE, okay. Coming back down into the 10 EMA for the first time since it pulled back at around 11 o'clock. Alas, it had a 3-candle hold at the 10 EMA from 11 to 11:10. Okay, so let's be on the lookout here. Last time it didn't breach it, but doesn't have to do the same thing it did last time. It is about to lose a 10 EMA right now, at least on a week basis, down into 17 3/4 it goes. It is an 18 4/5 high of the day, 1880 to be exact. Right now, it's showing 1780. Joey, as it just dipped down into that $0.75 area. I'd love a move into 17 and a hold of that 17, given how long we spent at 17 and couldn't breach it. I'm talking about from 10:30 all the way until 11:12. So to me, that's a long time, at least for an intraday trade. So I'll be watching 17 quite closely. But the same thing applies that I just said about FULC and waiting at 1410s to WVE. If you're going to wait at 17, it might be a crowded trade, as others will think the same thing. They'll post their orders 14 and a fifth, 14 and a quarter, 17 and all those numbers, and then you're waiting at 17 and you're not getting filled. So my move is to typically try to front run it by a little bit, just so that I don't end up with nothing in my hand. Joey, what do you got?
Yeah, same thing here, brother. We're looking for this long to start working, some aggressive selling, nice buying pressure, but again, this was a big time move. Not very much volume supporting it, so the more we engulf it, the more the chances of us breaching this low continuously increase. We're still slightly positive on it, nothing substantial whatsoever. I told you 34s is going to be that primary target, man. That's a big time ask, I think, right now. Yeah. But other than that, we sit in it. Look, Tesla's selling aggressively, but the company that sells the used Tesla going the opposite direction. Carvana up to $450 almost there, guys. So a fantastic look. A lot of names going off of the market. What is Microsoft still grinding higher?
And the fact that it got added to the S&P 500, do you think that silences a lot of the fraud? You guys are cooking the books type crap. What do you think? I mean, it's not SMCI, to be fair.
Yeah.
Remember? Got added, what do you think?
It's interesting because I remember trading this name. It was like $5, $6 back in
8,000%.
Yeah, bro.
8,000.
That is crazy. Something going on there for sure behind it, because this has to be the best performing used car dealership of all time, which may be slightly alarming. I think the addition is I mean, it is what it is. I have no say on it whatsoever, but the performance of the stock is insane, Shreve. I thought this thing was going to get delisted. How do you go from like on the precipice of being delisted?
They're on the verge of bankruptcy.
Exactly. They were almost done, and then it's like, hey, man, so you don't know what's going on. Maybe they're working with the cartels or something, because that type of turnaround is absolutely insane, and there's only one way you can be. No, obviously there's multiple ways, but no, it's a very interesting story. And if you've been a shareholder for quite some time, then congratulations to you, because there's multiple short reports on it as well, Shreve. You've seen some aggressive selling kind of in the middle of this massive run that it's been on, but then bought back up immediately, right away. So yeah, I mean, not too bad of a look. Nice VWAP rejection right there on SMR, but heading right back towards that low of the day. What are we trading at? 1916s on Tesla. So this thing doesn't really know what it wants to do. Used cars are cartels. Okay, Hangry Wife says, yeah, I mean, there you go. It's called management, says Fluffy. All right, so we're obviously being sarcastic, but you took it a little bit more seriously.
Bro,
that's okay.
Let's cut the crap, man. If these cartel guys, especially the guys with the deliveries and the logistics, if these guys were in Fortune 500 companies, I mean, you telling me the cartel doesn't have excellent logistics?
Yeah, you know
of course
what I mean?
they do.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's excellent.
The best.
It's not good, and from a morality perspective, but
I mean,
excellent logistics, bro. I mean,
you can't get wrong. You can't deny it at the end of the day. I don't know how they still get all this stuff over here.
Say that again, Neil?
Crap. I have $17 long on the VIX. Okay, you're long the VIX. Let's pull that bad boy up.
We're talking good about it, man. We said he had good logistics. I mean, we didn't say anything bad about Chappie.
Okay, so you bought these calls here on the VIX 17 long. Not too bad of a look. We'll take a look. Gain it from a daily off of those lows. So, hey, too much comfort in the market.
Too much comfort.
Doesn't like it. No one's scared. No one's fearful, Sharif. So we take a couple of points, pop higher, and let's go. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. We're at the ponies. Have you ever been to the horse races?
You asked me this.
Yeah. You got to get the D-gens with their programs in their hand, like, come on, 7, come on, 7. And that's kind of what we're doing. Or have you ever seen
older men, too.
Yeah, it's always the older guys. They don't want to be at home or anything like that. These guys are there bright and early. Or did you ever see that one meme where the buddy needed the stock to go up, so he's like blowing on a screen? You're like,
I've seen those. Yeah. I love those ones. Like I don't know. I don't want to call out any one group of people, but it's like these traders. They're overseas and they're doing a class on trading, intraday trading, and they're like waiting for the release of.
Remember that earnings?
Yeah, there was like I don't know what it was. Was it crypto or is it earnings release? And they're like, wait, go up, boom, all the way down. And all the students are like,
Buddy's like, everybody's like, oh, Buddy just goes immediately to his phone. And he's like, oh, that's not good. Front running some earnings.
I made a mistake. Sorry, guys. Your life savings, it's all over.
Yeah, it's all gone.
All right, guys, we're involved here in FULC. We got a beak wetter as this one did pop up into, I believe, the mid-50s. We got one DCA on this. We've got 43s on right now. It's showing me 44, so it's break even. But I'm looking to defend this into the volume-weighted average price with an ideally higher low situation with that flat top in and around 15 still holding up. So we'll see what FULC has to offer. Not going to get too aggressively, just keeping my eye on it for now, picking it up off technical levels. WVE. The red candle that just closed at 1150, ironically enough, the closing print there is above the 10 EMA, and this current candle, the 1155 candle, actually has a higher low. It's not above $18, but we saw this before. Take a look at the 3-candle pullback from 1105, and then the breakout candle at 1110. Pulls into the 10 EMA, closes above the 10 EMA, and then proceeds to make new area highs. So what I want to watch for here is a nice move up, possibly, or a nice move down, into that 17 and 2/3. We'll see if we can pick it up there, but it looks like it's on its way to 18. Did I get any more here? On FULC, I didn't quite pick up some there as it did dip down into my volume weighted average price trade, which is around 14s. Let's go ahead and see if we can just move that up a little bit. So we've got that one on. So we'll see if we can get the mid print over here, Joey. It might give it to me, it might not, currently not giving it to me at the moment. So we'll keep an eye out on that. I'm gonna be keeping a close eye on FULC and WVE. Okay. So the prior candle, the 1155 candle, closed green. This current candle right now, the 12 o'clock candle, has a lower high and a lower low. It's still hugging the 10 EMA. I don't want to jump into this one too quickly, but WVE is in focus for me over here. Let's see what this one has to offer. FULC right back into that 14.5, but doesn't add me or doesn't allow me to get some more. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one as well. Joey, anything to cover before we go to Adara and happening now?
The Tesla, this Tesla trade is not going. It's really weak today, guys. So this is going to be it. It's unfortunate. It's tough to part ways with a name from an intraday standpoint, but that's what's going to happen here, and we'll just find something else to trade, guys.
All right. Adara and then Neil.
Let's take a look at this market. This is the Nasdaq. This one actually just on this new 15-minute candle. False broke day's lows. Let's see if we push any lower or if we do temporarily find some support around this 623.20 area. But either way you want to slice it, the Nasdaq is weak, and it wasn't always this way. We did have some strength early, specifically pre-market in certain chip names like Broadcom, though Broadcom now also trading near intraday lows. We know Broadcom reportedly, according to a report last week, intraday from the information, Microsoft might be going with Broadcom for its chips in-house. That's led to some weakness in Marvell early on. I do have to talk about one name that is far from weak. That's going to be Carvana. Carvana near 450, though. It is running into some resistance at this level after it's announced that the company is going to be added to the S&P 500 index. This infographic kind of covers the many highs and lows of Carvana over the last 6 or so years of quarterly revenue reports. You can find this on X at TTV Research. But CVNA, along with CRH and FIX, to join the index as of December 22nd, 2025. Tesla gets a new downgrade here from Morgan Stanley, which gets a new analyst in the vehicle space. Rivian also getting hit with a Morgan Stanley downgrade. So MS not liking these auto stocks too much today, including TSLA, though it's worth noting the analyst did raise its price target on Tesla. Before we send you over to Neil, what should be an exciting lesson of the day, we're going to take a moment to thank our friends at Origenics, because concussions demand fast solutions. And NYSE-listed Origenics, under the ticker OGEN, they're developing one designed to reach the brain quickly and non-invasively. Learn more. Schedule a meeting today. Back to Neil and his lesson of the day, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe and listen up for this lesson.
Thank you very much, Adara. And this is going to be the easiest and least technical analysis tip that I can give you. And some of it's going to be brought to you by Palantir, because I was searching for names that maybe necessarily I didn't trade. So it wouldn't just be examples of stuff that I saw, but things out in the wild of a concept of, well, if you're trying to be patient in a stock and you think it's not making sense at the open, wait until it's obviously trading differently. And this is going to be a little bit subjective, but I think if it's obvious, that's what you want to go for. And just to note, Palantir, I don't even see any news here, but Palantir, see what just happened at VWAP? Oftentimes we talk about the open being choppy or chopping you up or being difficult to read, all those different things, where like money is adjusting what it wants to do for the big money is adjusting for what it wants to do beginning of the day. Positioning, there's lots of things that you might call it. But what it can lead to is a lot of this crazy back and forth action, which, look, if you're catching scalp trades inside and really good, and maybe you like the prior close, like you're bouncing some longs, you're bouncing off the highs, just going back and forth, and you're like a scalping maven, that could work. But the other thing is, if you notice something like this, simply waiting until the behavior has obviously changed can lead to some opportunities. Now, what you'll note here is this actually happened twice on Palantir. I mean, once when it was breaking out VWAP, and I think this could have gone either way, this was a clear change in behavior if you look at the chart. Like, it was downward sloping, clearly rejecting, the topping tail wicks, like all that stuff, and then holding through VWAP like multiple green candles. So there was a bit of a distinct change in here. Now, there's a couple of ways that could have resolved. This consolidation doesn't break higher, so I don't know if it actually set you up for a long. But what it did do is, if I see this, the only way to have made money trading in Palantir was to have been shorting the tops and buying the lows. Like most of the stuff that I usually like trend breaks and that stuff, that was no good until it distinctly looks different. And it is very distinctly different at this point. At that point, it then has a different behavior. And suddenly, hey, if I like my little trend analysis, which is what I like to do, well, it looks distinctly different. And when it breaks the trend, it is clean, absolutely clean and flushing back in. And an example that I will use as well, one I did trade and one I didn't trade, is, look at AMD. Like, I liked some other chips, I liked a bunch of chips, a couple of chip names for some weakness today, but didn't really get involved in AMD until later. Why? Because look how strong it was off the open, and immediately bounced. And then you get this choppy action. And then all of a sudden, right here, at about 10.20, at the volume-weighted average price, the behavior distinctly changes. It goes from essentially this little like A pattern or whatever you want to call it, to fading VWAP and showing more strength to the downside. Right? Like, instead of this choppy mess, catching bids, and then inside, clear breakdown right into the lows. And what do I see? To me, it just VWAP turned into a sell. So what am I going to do? It's distinctly different. The opening range was a mess. But if I like the short, I wait for it to test VWAP again. Rejection, go short. And you could have done it twice. And so sometimes you wait for that behavior, or just flat out for the chart to be obviously different. And the reason I'm actually doing this, to be honest, is because I didn't have any trades in Carvana today. And I was like, well, what could Carvana have looked like? Look how good the long is, obviously, in hindsight. But there's your chop. And if you're great, just like we're talking about with Palantir, you could be scalping, buying lows, selling highs, all that stuff. But there's a moment after about 10:30, where it just starts to behave differently. Like the chart goes from being a choppy mess to breaking that range and making higher lows, and there's your first higher low, there's your second, there's your confirmation that you're now in an upward trend, and you can join. And that requires a lot of patience. You might have, for this to look distinctly different, you could have been waiting for an hour and a half on Carvana. With AMD, you were waiting for 30, 40 minutes. With Palantir, you're also waiting for 30 minutes. You know what? Kind of worth it when you have the chop fest that goes on. If you think about big money positioning in the market, they'll be really aggressive in terms of shaking people out so that there's more room to rally. If everybody likes Carvana long, and someone's trying to build position for a bigger win on the day, the big institution, whoever it might be, or just shorts that are trying to get themselves out, they're going to shake a bunch of people out before it goes. That's just the nature of the game. So when you see the behavior distinctly different, then you know that whatever nonsense, doesn't matter what they were doing, whatever nonsense was happening at the open, whether it was shorts eking their way out or whether it was people holding it down so they can get a better long, whatever it is, doesn't matter. It distinctly changes at about 10:30, and it confirms that changing here at 10:40. And at that point, if you just, like if you can, let me draw this. If you can essentially take this open range and pretend it didn't happen, right? And if all I showed you is this is where it was in the pre-market and this didn't happen, what would you think of these buys? Like you'd think gap up stock, holding prior resistance and breaking higher. Like it's just a classic long, right? Now, obviously, being married to some of these prices down here is going to hurt you. But waiting for the chart to simply look different, it's almost like it has a different heartbeat to it, like if you're reading an ECG or EKG, right? It's distinctly different from the pattern behavior from before. Okay, the nonsense is done at the open, time for me to engage. So if you're being patient, that's one way of looking for it. And it might be sitting out 20 minutes, it might be sitting out 30 minutes, sometimes it can be sitting out an hour like with Carvana. But if you're that kind of a trader, or attempting to be, to find that distinct trend, sometimes it behooves you to wait that long, and there's nothing wrong with that. So that's your lesson of the day. Hope it helps everybody. Good luck. I think we just had a pretty impressive bottoming tail candle, by the way, in the future. That could signal a bit of a turn here. We'll see.
Take a look here at GOOGL quickly before we send you guys back over to the Bash Brothers Ad Week, reporting that Google has been telling advertisers they're going to be bringing ads to Gemini in 2026. So it looks like Google is looking to add ads to Gemini. Interesting look here as we send you back to Joe and Sharif.
I literally looked over to Joe, 2 seconds ago. I'm like, Joey, what's going on with goggles? We know why Tesla's selling off, Morgan, whatever. Morgan Stanley, we'll get to that on the news, obviously. But Google, do you think this, it's been super strong lately, obviously. Absolutely. And what do you think?
Yeah, I think that we're going to see a little bit more of a pullback. We talked about almost it being inevitable that we're going to start seeing ads in some of these LLMs, and sure enough, Google firing it off. Yeah. Who other than Google to get things really started, Sharif, with the ads into Gemini? Watch out for this support level break. Once that cracks, it's not going to be a good story for the TWWGs, in which I am long. We got 20 cents of risk right here, guys. This is going to be our primary target right there for a 2-to-1. So let's see if we can hold up, just risking a little bit, but the narrative does seem to be to the downside. So yeah, it hasn't been a good day. We ended the week pretty good last week, and we're just going to stick to our stops here and then come back tomorrow and do the exact same thing to see if we can get a rebound. But as for Google, Sharif, been on a big time run. On the daily, you're heading towards some key support levels, which I do think are going to crack. But the ads on Gemini is the start of all. Watch this digital ad revenue just go through the roof in this company.
And their regular search revenue didn't even get cannibalized yet. We were talking about that one going down. Didn't. We saw the earnings report last time.
Well, now, if anything, they might have a chance to continue to climb, because if you go to the search, you click on Gemini and you see these things. Now, considering it may be the best LLM right now, you got Nano Banana, a lot going on for this name. What a stellar company.
And you got Altman panicking, all hands on deck, code red, whatever we heard last week. I got to tell you, man, look, I've been using Google a lot more. The image generation for Google, not so good. I've been doing the morning note with it every day.
I've been having.
You have issues as well with it. Yeah, but I can only see it improving, not getting worse.
Exactly.
Especially with chat telling me it can't include images of people's logos.
Yeah, whatever.
What?
Cut the crap, man.
The hell is going on?
But
anyway.
I don't know what it is. So when you plug things into Gemini, what does it do for you? Like mine just mixes up the data.
What do you mean? For what? What am I doing?
Yeah, so
What's the task?
Yeah, so with your task, you generate an image, right? That's what you're trying to do, right? So what does it do? It just gives you a face that's
it gives
not
me a crappy one.
Yeah.
Not really as good as chat.
For me, it'll mix up the numerical like digits and put something else in different places. Yeah.
You know who what's it called? XAI.
Yeah.
Grok is doing that.
Yeah.
But
so I'm like, why? And I keep telling. Sometimes it gets it right. The other times it just keeps doing the exact same thing. So I mean, still in early stages of this stuff. User error.
Yeah, of course. I saw that too.
Yeah, that's
you gave her an audience there. All right, Ram, it's us. We just suck as people. You're so much better than us, Ram. We need you to teach us. That's why you're here. We'll
get her to make sure she generates the image the night before, and then I'll get her to plug in all my data to make sure everything's good.
Yeah, right. She ain't doing nothing, bro, unless she's getting paid.
Yeah.
That's how she works. Shout out to Ram. All right, we're in Fulcrum, FULC, seller at 40. We got the volume weighted average price DCA, now bounced at least for the moment off the volume weighted average price right up to 1440, but it is not clearing, still waiting for that 1440 level to show that the sellers are stepping aside or the buyers are out-dueling them. So we've got 45s here for a possible beak wetter. Let's go ahead and wait north of 50 as well, and then we're going to wait in the mid-60s on FULC, looking for a hold of VWAP and higher lows. Go ahead.
There goes Google, man, right to the downside. Aggressive push, helping drag the market down. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, and we'll head over to a daily, guys, as you're now punching through the support levels. Watch out, around $13 or so, 313. Boom, strong, aggressive move. Sorry to interrupt you, but it did help drag the market lower. Tesla, it's going to bleed out here today, Sharif. We can't stop this wound as it's continuing.
Joey, but the question you always have to ask is it bleeding its own blood?
If
it's not, then you're pretty much
bleeding its own. It's bleeding its own blood today. Down 20 plus points, or not quite, but I mean, what did we open up around 449? Yeah, you're down 10 points today on the intraday session. Listen. You want to do something? We'll do this for fun. I'm gonna pull up the open interest, and I'm just gonna take a guess. I haven't looked at it today. We're gonna see the most amount of open interest on Tesla at 450. Let's do it right now.
We're gonna do it live.
We're doing it live, and I haven't even looked at the chain today. I promise.
I believe you.
All right, let's get over here.
Get over there. Let's go. What do we got?
TSLA. Bet my bottom dollar. I could be wrong here today. 450. Boom.
1450?
450. I told you. I just knew from I didn't even look at it today, and I knew this was the largest amount of open interest. That's why you got to use this stuff, man. It's such a beautiful, beautiful tool. 10,000 contracts open at 450 with 39,600 traded at that specific strike price that is going to be expiring.
Papacito dropping 6.9 shekels in the chat. I do appreciate that. Why Sheriff didn't take GPCR above VWAP 4.2 BMC? I'm not sure I understand what the BMC part is, but let me have a look at GPCR. Let's flip to the 5. Oh, wow, this is trading at 70 bucks. Well, what do we got on? I have it, brother. I have it on the side chart over here. It's just because it's really consolidative. So it's on the bottom left of the side chart. We've got it on. It has a big move right into 94. We talked about this one, but it's just been straddling VWAP. For a while here. What I was literally waiting for was a breach of the double top, the one that took place at 10:55 and 11. The area highs there are 71.94 and 72. So essentially anything above 72 likely gets me into this trade. Let me just put an alert a little bit below 72. So if it does price spike up into there, I can pick it up. Now, another trade, obviously, is to pick it up off the higher lows. This one did breach VWAP quite aggressively at 1035 and 1040, and then it retraced again, but a much shallower retracement, 1115 into 1120, and now the retracements are actually holding up above VWAP. But on the other side of that coin, you're still getting lower highs. So you're getting higher lows and lower highs on GPCR. Oh. Let's see which way this cookie crumbles. There goes fulcrum. And I said a word under my breath there that I can't say on YouTube, Joey, but we're going to take the profits there. Right up it goes. A great move off the volume weighted average price and a bounce right back up. The higher lows on FULC are still in play. What I want to wait for, though, is a nice big move above that $15 area, man. 1487 high. Despite the fact that the pre-market highs are substantially higher, more like 1650. Back into the 60s we go. We're showing 62s now on the level 2. You know where your boy is waiting if it's in the 60s. I don't even want anybody to ask, Joey. Right? We're gonna this guy. I love this guy. He feeds into my delusion. It's so good. All right, I love it, bro. All right, we're putting some at 69, and then we're putting some at 88. By definition, of course, that will have to be a breach of the high of the day, as the high of the day, the technical high of the day during regular trading hours, 1487. So keeping an eye out on that one.
Yeah,
Sorry, bro, you're making me chuckle.
No, it's all right.
Joey, WVE continues to bleed somebody else's blood over here on the way down into the 20. What am I saying?
This is bleeding other people's blood. Google too.
Assassino's gonna get us off the show, bro. He's gonna be like, we're shutting this.
Like, hey, when is it? Oh, Assassino on vacation too.
Yeah, and then you know who's gonna be in his place, right?
No.
Where is she? She's gonna bully the hell out of us.
Yeah, well, I know. I'm
Constant
prepared. I have to
bullying in her
mentally
ear.
get prepared.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be mentally prepared. Ram will be here for 2 weeks while the Assassino enjoys summertime in Brazil, of course, because now it is it's the opposite, southern hemisphere.
Before I come in, it's just daily affirmations, just to remind myself of the potential verbal abuse I may endure.
Potential. Potential
in the next.
Delete that word, bro. There's no potential. It is a certainty.
It's definitely.
It is a factual certainty.
It's coming, man. It's coming.
You know, she's really good at being mean, eh?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what somebody who's really good at being mean, what it says about them. Why is she hiding behind that pole?
Hey, that's what she likes it over there now too.
We love Ram. Look at that. I'll be on my best behavior. Yeah, right. I believe that when I see it. So we're kidding.
So we're cool, man.
Hey?
I get her salmon when she doesn't want to eat it.
There's a salmon in the fridge there.
I know, I put it there
last week.
No, I threw that one out and I put it out. Oh, yeah, the Friday I put that one there. Yeah, because
yo, fluffy hippo.
No, because Ram left it on the counter, and I'm like, ooh, okay, let me put this in the fridge for a later day.
Yeah, but brother, it had been there, I think, since
no, that
last
was a different.
Friday.
That was a different one.
That's a different one.
We're talking a new piece of salmon here, brother. Good. Oh my days! Look at Google Go. This is what I was talking about, Sharif. I said, man, if we crack that support level, watch out for that, for sellers to really step in here, and they're most definitely doing that on the intraday price session. So there it is, guys. 314 now down to 312, and we might not be finding a bounce. It's tough finding the longs today. They're not working out any whatsoever. So going against the grain, and that's why we're having a hard time finding some good opportunities. I have 0 wins to the long side. My only win is short, but yet I still try to find some longs. So maybe it's time to go with the flow. But we're already past that point, man. It's I'm gonna continuously put on as much risk as I possibly can. But tougher start today. Last week we had a pretty stellar one. So it's just one of those days, and we're not gonna complain about it.
Yeah, you had a monster last week. Good.
Yeah, we had a pretty good. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday were a good string of sessions. That's for sure.
All right, Assassinos, you're getting a lot of questions here in the chat. Where is Assassino from? Asks Rogelio Concepcion. He's from Brazil. Assassino, do you want to let us know what city you're? Sao Paulo. Okay, so he's from the big boy city. Shout out to Assassino. And then I sent you between you and I in the chat there, somebody was asking something, I think in Portuguese, that I don't really understand. So I just copied and pasted it. He says yes to Pitchbull. He answered yes to you, my friend. So that is from his mouth. Shout out to Assassino on the 1s and 2s. All right, FULC, Joey, we're still holding on to this. Now the seller's at 50. Even though we did get a nice price spike up into the 60s, we are now dealing with a seller at the $0.50. This stock suffers from that. There is big size being posted at specific levels, and we can see thousands and thousands of shares churn at that level with nary a breach. So that is something I've been picking up on. There we go, popping back up into 55. Look at that aggressive buy order, all the orange there. You see, guys, see that green and orange on the time and sales? That usually means exuberant buying. I'm just packing my patience here for a price spike up into 69. And then ideally, we get a test of the high of the day at 1487. So I'm going to be focusing on FULC at the moment. Let's see if there are any other midday movers here going. I want to mention IBIO, even though this one really had its best trade early on, it has been putting in some higher lows, but it also has suffered from the opposite, from lower highs. You know, you get above VWAP, you try to get above $2 there, two topping tail candles, and then you drop right back into that $170. Alas, we're trying to work back into that 180. So IBIO, you could try to pick this up off trend. I wouldn't necessarily trade it as a breakout trade, but I could, you know, realistically see people picking it up off that lower end trend line. OCUL, much slower of a mover, but it is now trading above 16 bucks. It had a lot of trouble decisively clearing 16. It's got a double top right now at 16.28, but holding above the 10 moving average and looking possibly even to take out that 16.28 high a day. WVE is breaking down, Joseph, okay? So it's losing the 10, it lost the 10, it's losing the 20, and it's now below $17. $17 was what I perceived to be a flat top break, given the amount of rejections we had. We had rejections at $17 from 10.30 until we decisively took it out at 11.10. So I was looking for that 17 to come in and hold as a good area of support. For the moment, it's not, even though, you know, we're just showing 95s, 96, so we really haven't lost the level that decisively. So I'm keeping an eye here on WVE for some money entries, but you know, I'm not going to be trying to catch a falling knife, especially with the aggression this one had to the top side. We could see an equally aggressive move to the downside here, Joey. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on. FULC seller at 55.
Good stuff. Whenever we're ready there, Assassin, let me know. All right, for too long trading meant risking your own money or never having enough to start. The fear of losing, that's what kept so many traders on the sidelines. Okay. But that's changing. Trade the Pool is transforming how traders access the markets with its limited risk trading model. Traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, and growth. When you hit the profit target, you keep 70% of the profits. No fear, no barriers, just real opportunity. This is the revolution of limited risk trading powered by Trade the Pool. Visit Trade the Pool or scan the QR code now to get 10% off your first evaluation. If you ever see that.
Joey, I got to interrupt just before you go on. Shout out to Fluffy Hippo. Girl, you called this one out before, and I said great trade. Now U.S. stock trader calling it as well. YAAS, yes, as some people like to say online. Up 40%, Joey. Shout out to the Fluffsters, man. She called this one out early, even before we went to Adara and Neil for happening now. There it goes, Joey. It is now a $2.30 high on YAS. Trade this one carefully, as the volume on this one, only 810,000 shares. So we haven't even broke that milli yet, and we're a $2.20 name. But I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this one, especially with other ones breaking down. YAAS. What does R mean, U.S. stock trader? Does that mean like
resistance, my boy?
Oh, goodness. 233. Yeah, that does make sense.
Right?
230, yeah. So shout out to you, brother. U.S. stock trader saying resistance at 233. We're up 39%. I'm going to keep a close eye on this one. I don't mind getting in, possibly off that 10 EMA, maybe even 2. I also like the breakout level here in the 210s. So YAAS. Breaking out here, Joey. We're going to keep an eye on that.
Yes. All right, man. Yeah. Google really weak here, guys. Yeah, man. But there it is. We're going to probably get stopped out of this trade here momentarily as the market continues to bleed. Yeah, I mean, the longs aren't working. We'll go back to the SMR trade. It was definitely our better one on the day, and it was to the short side. But the funny thing is, I'm going to come back tomorrow and do the exact same thing, look for the longs. So I'm not just going to abandon what we got going on, because it's working pretty good for us. We'll take the loss, and then we'll just, what a
What's
tank.
going on, Joey?
Fast start stop. That is not good.
Freaking me out here, bro.
Yeah, no, market just continuously diving, man. That was a big time move. It is what it is. We'll take the TQs off of the chart as well. How did the market not climb higher with Microsoft doing this? What kind of bogus is that? I mean, we open.
One?
Yeah, exactly. We open up around 484 and we climb up to 493 roughly, and then sure enough, we're just continuously. I feel your pain. I cannot trade when the market. You can't go, okay, so you're short bias. Yeah, fair enough, man. By all means, I feel no way about it. As you can tell, I'm just super calm, chill. It's part of the nature of the beast. Just doing a lot of work over the weekends and stuff. Oh, full disclosure, guys, I will be leaving a couple minutes earlier today. Yeah, because going to see the orthopedic surgeon.
I'm pumped for you, bro.
Yeah, finally, man. It's been too long. It's been 8 or 9 months that I've been. I have had a torn meniscus. Yeah, I tore it in hockey, and I've been playing with it, just taping up. But I have no east and west movement, so I'm going to be looking forward to.
Aggravates the hell out.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm looking forward to just kind of getting back on the road to recovery, starting off anyway. So listen. I've been dominating with one leg. What happens when I get 2 legs back? Ask your boy Mateo. Yesterday, Mateo was playing.
What did he do, Joey?
We were playing. He was on the opposite team.
Did he get smoked?
No, we tied, actually. It was a tie game, yeah.
Was that by design, or it just happened to be that he was on the other team?
It was by design. It was by design, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, by all means, yeah. You got something? Go ahead.
FULC. Into the day's high, Joey. We took it out there. There it is at 82. FULC, we got 27s on. I packed my patience. I added into the right areas, entry 1, entry 2, and then finally entry 3 to defend the volume-weighted average price. And there it goes into the high of the day. It's up 65%. We're still holding a couple of pieces here, so I'd like to see a nice move past 15. We're going to pack our patience on this one. The question for me, though, is if we don't get a break of 15 now, and there's a good chance that we don't, do I start adding in the same way that I added on those higher lows? Because that's what I perceive for it to be happening. I mean, you don't need to be a chartered market technician to see this right here. These higher lows are still in play. Every successive area trough is a little bit higher than its predecessor. So I want to ride that trend. So FULC certainly in focus for me over here. Shout out to the man over here, Zen Zombie. He's dropping $2 in the chat. Thank you very much, Zen Zombie. And he's in the money on the VIX. Love to hear it, man. Let's take a quick look at the VIX and see what that bad boy is up to. Joey, when you chart on the VIX, you go to the future or you go indexes?
Yeah,
or you go
index. Yeah, index.
You go index?
I look at
That's crazy talk. Why don't you go future?
Because the index it shows you the whole thing. It's probably relatively the same. I've never gone on the futures.
You never seen continuous contract, my man?
No,
I'm gonna show you this one, Joey.
Daily.
You're gonna like that. It mixes all the contracts together, even though they expire. It blends them together. I'll show you that. Well, if it stopped embarrassing me, I'd show it to you. But alas,
okay,
all right, let's go to the index now. Thanks, Joey. Embarrassing. Now we're bouncing up here, Joey. We made an area low. We kind of got it back into that 15.5 area that we had been in the later parts of October. Yeah, it looks like later part of October, bounced off that level. Looks like we're going to mean revert a little bit here. The VIX is, it finds a bottom, and then it'll make that bottom. And then, you really probably won't get too much lower. Like you see over here, there's generally an area bottom. There's no generally area top, right? So when you hold up at a bottom, I'm always looking for, the market to go down because it will mean revert back, into the 20s, 22.5. But yeah, up 10% today, dude, the VIX, man. Yeah. So volatility definitely an issue right now. Keeping an eye here on FULC, and I'm very interested in getting into YAS, okay? It got back down into VWAP, put in a hammer candle to hold up above the volume-weighted average price. And this is going to be my invitation to get into this one. 1 penny spread, not too bad. VWAP's at 205. I'm going to DCA into 205. It loses 2, it loses me as a trader. What do you got, Joey?
Oh, it's like that, eh?
What happened, bro?
I didn't want to do that.
You didn't want it?
No, I wanted to go the opposite. I hit the wrong key for...
Bad, brother.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God. I knew that would... No! I have to get out of this. I hit the wrong key, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God.
Oh, not good. I mean, it's not bad.
Joey, I got to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Fulcrum. Boom.
What was that?
Freaking boom. Look at the breakout, bro. Into 1574. We took 1550s there on FULC. Guys, the last print there we had was 1481. This one Price spiked up right into the area high, 1574. It's up 72% now. Big breakout right now, above 15. Now, this is what we're talking about. We wanted that 15 breakout. So what's the next move? Do we wait for 15 to come in, Joey, or we're going to wait for that 14.5s? Big move here on FULC. Watch out for this one, though, because as I mentioned before, take a look at the wider time frame. It has a tendency to mean revert once it makes these area spikes. Look at this. It did it all along the pre-market. It did it in the build up to the open as well, right into, I think, 9 o'clock. FULC, watch out now for an aggressive mean reversion, and you're getting it. You're already $1 lower than where we printed. We're showing 1480s. The high this candle, 1574. FULC on that illegal stuff. Sorry to interrupt, Joe, but this one, YAS going as well. We just got the beak wet there at 15s, just popped up into 16s. We got some there at 9s, looking for a continuation into the $0.25, Joey.
Ooh, Eduardo Marino, watch your profanity. You're gonna have to remove that one there, my brother. You cannot swear in here. All right, we're gonna take the second attempt here on the TQs. Just not abandoning the thesis. Lots of buying pressure. This is going to be the last attempt, I guess, because Apple continuously bleeding. You're starting to get a rebound, but a lot of indecision prints across the board. So let's see, exact same narrative, guys, though. Risking 20 cents, so 55.30s is going to be our out on this one. We're long at 55.50, so 5 cents better than our previous entry. And let's see if we can get this rocking and rolling. If not, it's a bleed its own blood. It's funny because I'm like, man, I was looking at, I'm like, oh man, the TQs was $100 just a couple of days ago. What happened? And then I forgot about the split, obviously. So now you know, and a little bit slow of a reaction from your boy. But let's go. Let's pull up what we're looking at here. I'm long the TQ, so we want to keep an eye on some of the big names. That's going to be Apple, Amazon, NVDA, Tesla, Microsoft, and goggles. Indecision print at the low. Indecision print at the low. Indecision print at the low. And you guessed it, no more indecision prints at the low. What has Meta been up to? What is it up to? I mean, some choppy sideways PA here, but at least we're not selling with the overall market. We still like it all the way up to 676. Oh. Let's go, man. Oh man, what a buy. Anytime I mentioned this, you have these mega cap names. We're gonna breach this this gap relatively soon, and that's gonna be around 680. But these mega cap names, man, when you're down 30%, 26%, it's just slowly start to buy them, because I don't think they can go down. You can obviously be totally wrong, and then things can get disastrous, but they just get bought back up just due to the amount of cash that they have on hand. But let's go TQs, man. This is attempt number 2. We're going to see if this one can work for us. Apple not really doing much either. We can head and take a look at this from a daily and see what we got cooking up. Starting to come off of those highs of 288. You're about 4% off of that level. And then same with Google. You're roughly 4% off of the highs. Can Tesla get a rebound here? It looks like it wants to slowly start to curl over. As you can see, price action starting to do so, guys.
All right, someone I think just dropped a comment about, I think they were saying something about Waymo. And I have a hilarious video that I want to show. Remember the one I sent you?
Yeah.
So, look, let's not crap all over Waymo. I mean, they're doing really well here, okay, generally speaking. But the cars, they're still not humans, okay? So they're still making very, very basic mistakes. And this was one of those mistakes, Assassino. Hold on a second, let me set up the video in a better way so that we can kind of see it a little bit better over here. There we go. So let's start this video again. So this is Waymo going through an intersection where the police had arrested an individual. So Waymo's just chilling. The video is going to repeat in a second, okay? So Waymo is trying to make a left turn. The dude's on the ground. Guns are drawn. And there's a Waymo. It's like, let me just go in. No big deal. Guns are drawn, Joey. I'm trying to do this over here, but it's not even restarting the whole thing. That's the thing. Oh, here we go. We got it now. So this is them trying to make the turn. That's a Waymo making the turn, and it stops. That's the funny thing. It's stopping right in front of all the cops with their guns drawn. It's like, get the hell out of there, dude. The dude's on the ground. He's like, what is this thing doing, man? So these are going to be like the growing pains, I think, for electric vehicles or autonomous vehicles in the near future. I happen to love this kind of stuff, man. Shout out to Waymo. All right, guys, we're taking some prints here on YAAS. There we go. Now I'm waiting at 24s. In fact, it should have been printing me because that is the candle high into 24s, looking for that move into 33s. I have nothing above 24, so we're going to post here at 33s, looking for that continuation on YAS. We're long 13s, it's showing 22, but need a little bit more. Best part is there are passengers inside the Waymo. Yeah, they got the best view, dude, of that standoff. Normally you can't get that close, right? Otherwise, police, you'll get arrested if you get too close to the standoff. Road runners laughing. Focused now on YAS as U.S. stock trader. And man, that's part of my thing, man. We can kind of do both things at the same time here, Joey. Gavin Ross, dude phoned for a getaway car. That's hilarious. Imagine he phoned in that Waymo and he's like sitting there waiting for it and geolocated him on the ground. Sunny Gadget Review, at least Waymo didn't run the guy over. I'm assuming you're talking about the robo-taxi, of course. Yeah, man, look, there are some definite advantages to having LiDAR than just a camera-based system. Absolutely right. You'll always be able to know if there's an object there, and not just because the camera is interpreting that it sees an object, but because there is an actual reflection of the laser. It's a laser radar, right, being projected back. So I think that there is definitely advantages, no question about it, of having LiDAR. The question always has been for me, you know, does the cost, especially going into the future, kind of support that the approach that they're taking?
Expansion,
yeah.
If they really want to build this thing, I don't think so. They have to figure something out.
But what if LiDAR gets super cheap, is what I'm trying to say.
It is getting cheaper.
It's getting cheaper,
it's
right?
Getting cheaper. But I mean, like, I think it's the vehicle as well, too. That's an expensive vehicle that they're purchasing.
Super expensive.
Right?
But you don't have to build it on an iPace, right? Like, you can get a
Hyundai,
right, like an Ioniq, or you know what I mean?
No.
Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
There was, I think, President Trump's automotive transportation secretary, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He said Toyota.
Yeah, Toyota.
He said Toyota. Like, I thought Donald was going to roast him, dude.
Toyota.
I was like, the way that I roasted Joey.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't even me. It was a chat, brother. Louis Julian says pins. Let's take a look at PINS. Bringing this in. See what pins is up to on the day. All right, we're definitely towards the lower end of that range. Just looking on the daily here on pins, we held 25. Definitely an important area for Pinterest going back, I mean, years, man. From July, I think, of 2023. That $25 area has been well defended here on pin. So is 30, though. When you take a look at some other areas, that 30 area would probably be resistance now. Let's look on the daily, the 5, okay? So we've got resistance here, it looks like at 27.40. We consolidated in the pre-market around 27.40, 27 and a third. We just popped back into it at 27.40, rejected, dropping into 27.20. I do like the higher lows, so you're getting that sort of accumulation. Higher low, higher low, higher low, possible flat top break through 27.40. But you know, this is just not the type of stock that I trade. I had a great breakout there in the aftermarket on Friday. Let's find out why that happened. So Friday aftermarket, just looking over here to see what's going on. Does this have something to do with the S&P edition? What time was that breakout, Joe? That came in at 17:15, so that's 5:15. I'm just trying to look to see what came in on my blotter 5:15 on Friday. Quite frankly, I'm not seeing a whole lot. Under Armour, no, I'm not really seeing anything. Carvana, no, I don't know. Maybe Pins is joining the S&P or something. Is that it? Let me know what you guys are seeing. Oh, S&P 400 inclusion. Thank you. Okay, it's not a 500 inclusion. Okay, S&P 400 inclusion. Why am I not seeing that on my blotter, man? That's really annoying. Wedbush did downgrade them today with a $30 price target. If that has maybe a bit of a damper on that inclusion bullish effect that we had on Friday, because this thing popped up pretty nice, man, from 26 3/4 all the way up into 28 1/3, and now we're kind of halfway in between there at 27 1/4. Good look from Pins, man. Nice S&P 400 inclusion, but I'm not seeing it on my blotter, so I don't know. Jay Lee, Sharif, Joseph, I'm sticking with my TQQQ short. I'll make sure hedge just before 2 p.m., but otherwise I expect it will dump hard. Shout out to Jay Lee always, you know, trading the future and some of these bigger names.
Yeah.
Keep your eye out for his levels. Joey, what do you got?
Absolutely. So yeah, we're still sitting in the same position, guys. You can see the entry on this one, almost at a 0.5 to 1 right now. So 0.5 to 1 risk to reward ratio. We're gonna wait a little bit longer. At 60s, we'll be at 1 to 1, and at 70s, we'll be. That's 5 cents. Yeah, so I'm at a 1/4 to 1. Not too good. All right. So for the individual in the chat who was asking about Unity software and a potential breakout, I mean, you've punched through that level right now at 47.50, and then now you're starting to climb a little bit higher. You're thinking swing trade. I don't think this is a horrible place. I'd be patient just in case there's somewhat of a breath and you do get a pullback. What was I going to do here? Yeah, I'm going to send it over to the weekly and see if we can get something. So you're off the lows, 15 bucks. Wow, that's interesting here. So this name has been, year to date, from those April lows, you're up 164%. This is the weekly, obviously. But yeah, you're breaking through resistance. The volume not supporting it quite yet, so keep an eye on that to just slightly pick up. This is a key pivot level right there, so keep an eye out on that. But other than that, potentially swing trade. It's so tough because you have to define where you're out, right? So if you're going to play the break, where are you going to commit to your wrongdoing? And I would say you want to give it some room, so a couple of dollars. So you come back into this level, 43, I would be looking at an L, because at that point you could probably find a little bit better of a price, or even this previous pivot. So a lot of things just kind of correlating right there. So all right, now we're finally at a 0.5 to 1 as we tap into 55.60s. 70s is going to be that 1 to 1. 55.90s is going to give us that 2 to 1, which we're looking for, right? So yeah, I don't know, man. It's definitely a tougher session for the longs. Starting to get a rebound here in Google, which is a positive sign. A beautiful indecision print off of these lows, and now you're starting to get a bounce. But how much of a bounce are we going to get? I think that's going to be pretty telling in how much of a bounce we get in the TQs as well. Apple heading lower, so that's not good. You get, at one point you have these guys going higher with Google going lower. Now you got Google slowly climbing higher. Now Apple's going lower. So sometimes it's just best to avoid the tech trade and find something else, like the names of Carvana and other opportunities. Robinhood was trading good on the session, Sharif. So yeah, I mean, it's still hovering around those highs of the days, 136, and I believe we had an all-time high of around $150. But yeah, I was telling Jay Lee, man, not doing too good on the long side. My only real good trade today was SMR to the short side, and I still am taking the long. So something we got to figure out there. But it is what it is, man.
TWWG halted to the upside. CETX also halted to the downside. A bit of an opposite one there. I just saw that Baidu's up almost 4% on the day, so I was like, what the hell? What's going on here with Baidu? Apparently, they're looking at spinning off their AI chip branch or segment. So Baidu confirmed in a regulatory filing on Monday that it is in the process of assessing a proposed spin-off and listing plan. Last week, Reuters report indicated that Baidu's AI chip division, not even try to bother saying this one, is planning for a Hong Kong IPO after a recent funding round that valued it around 21 billion yuan, which is about $3 billion. It aims to submit its listing application to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange as early as Q1 of 26. Sources indicate the company wanted to complete an IPO by early 27, trading at near the high at 131. Big gap up that hasn't been filled relative to Friday's price action on BIDU. What's the latest look here on Baidu? Yeah, it looks like we're putting in a bit of a bull flag here with some lower highs ever since that breakout, I want to say, in late August. Good look for Baidu. I mean, it really hasn't given back the entire move, but well off that 147. I want to say that the real resistance level is around 140. So good luck for Baidu. I didn't have this one on the morning note, so I just want to cover that one super quick. I'm keeping a close eye here on WVE. So we talked about that $17 level being a key area of resistance. Lo and behold, it goes to 1880, almost 19. Now it's been consolidating at 17 since 1220. It is now 1245. So I'm trying to keep a close eye on this one to see, when we formed a bottom and whether or not we can kind of get back and hold above 17 with an aggressive move possibly into that high day. Here we go, right back into that area low, 1680s. I want to say the lowest candle of the bunch is that one at 1235 that has a low of about 1670, give or take, showing, basically 17 bucks right now. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But as I mentioned, TWWG halted to the upside. Top Wealth Group. Oh boy. You love when you load up the daily and it looks like this, Joey. Right? It doesn't matter, though. We're on for a good time, not a long time. TWG. All right, so this one started moving in the afternoon on Fridays. Started moving at 5 to 4, man. So this one exploded to the upside, obviously with no halt parameters to stop it in the aftermarket on Friday. About a $14 high, but that was not as good as it could do. It did better this morning in the pre-market, 420. 420, Joey.
420 Bud Monster.
It got up to $15.95, so almost a $16 high. It is halted to the upside at $12.82. We have these institutional prints here at 8 a.m. Go up to about 15 bucks. Higher than that is the pre-market high, as I mentioned, at 4:20 a.m. That has a high there of $15.95. So 12.82, lower high, and yes, lower high currently. So we'll see how this one does. I could be interested certainly on TWG if it really gets going here. In fact, we're going to take off. Who are we going to take off here? We're going to take off YAS super quick here, unless it loses the, if it loses, I should say, the volume weighted average price. For now, I'm going to take off IBIO, and we're going to throw in TWG into this bad boy, and we'll keep an eye out on this one for a nice move into the high side. It's about 1:45. We'll start the news momentarily. But Joey, tell them.
What's going on, guys? And now for some exciting news out of Canada for the sophisticated traders on the stream. Beta Pro by Global X Canada, Canada's largest provider of leveraged inverse and inverse leverage ETFs, had just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs offering 3x bull and 3x bear exposure to the S&P and TSX 60, semiconductors, and on U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. Plus, with the U.S.-focused strategies, use currency hedging, offering the potential for pure performance and exposure. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca 3x daily to learn more. Learn more, guys. Always want to be learning more. So go and check that out. Hopefully everyone has the opportunity to do so. But as for NVDA, punching through, or I mean, holding at some key support levels right there. This thing has been a hot mess as of the past, past couple of sessions have been disastrous for NVDA, in my opinion. Anyways, a lot of range bound. Look how identical this price action is to what we on Friday to what we're experiencing here on this beautiful Monday morning. A little chilly in Toronto, but
a little. Dude, it was minus 14 this morning.
Yeah, man, it's cold stuff.
Thankfully, there was really no wind chill, but minus 14 is like mid-January, mid-February, whether or not.
Man, it's going to be
mid-December. It's going
to be a long one. Oh, why? We talk about hydration nation, Shreve. It's going to be hibernation nation over here on my behalf, man. But no, there it is, guys. And then if we take a look at NVDA from a daily, make sure I sit up straight, Assassino, please and thank you, because I'm always like hunched over and I don't want to hunch back. Thanks, because that's what my grandma used to say: sit up straight at all times. You know you're not allowed to have your back hunched. All right. So there it is. A lot of sideways price action. There you go. Now you know. So Joseph's grandma always kept him in line. July to where we're currently trading at, we've just been within this $180 range. We did get a pop-up. I'm going to classify this more or less as a whipsaw move. I mean, I know those things are relatively quicker, but that was a big-time pop-up, and in my opinion, it was unnecessary. It was just catalyst after catalyst, partnership after partnership, and it's like, all right, that's enough of that, and the market started to just bring it back right into the middle of this range around $180. I thought that this neckline was going to break, but it may take a little bit longer than what we're going to be suspecting. But as for the TQs, let's go! We're almost out of one-to-one, Sharif. Thank you very much. As we were patiently waiting, just like 50 Cent, in order to get this trade. You know, you remember that song, right? Patiently waiting. Okay, anyways.
Patiently waiting.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. But Robin, oh my God, there goes Robinhood, continuing to climb almost up to 137 there, folks. What a thing of beauty this is. Now we just need the overall market to start to participate. If these big boys do decide that they want to get the ball rolling and climb higher, Apple participates, it's off to the races, and we might potentially get a VWAP test. But a lot of choppy PA here in AAPL. And then we had some selling on Friday session, on Thursday session, oh my God, and on Wednesday session, Sharif. So consecutive selling days here in AAPL.
All right, got into TWG. We're going to try this one here after the halt to defend this general, I want to say, 13 to about $12.50 area. Some selling coming in here at 13. I got 20s on. I've got very small size given that this one's quite a bamboozler. Look, we've got a double bottom here at 1262, 1263, and 1262. So the candle at 1245, 1262 low. The current candle has a 63 low, dipping. Oh, here we go. We already got stopped out. So gave that one up pretty quickly there. So we'll give back a little bit on TWG. Topping till candle into 14. I could be interested for a trade on this one at around 12 bucks. So it's gonna have to come substantially lower for me to get interested. The reason I say that is because it has a nice breakout area there. It looks like, I don't wanna say a flat top, but definitely some resistance on TWG initially at $12. And it's also the 10 EMA on the 5. So let's keep an eye out on this one. Popping right back into mid-13s over here. So I may have got stop hunted. Oh, come on, right back into 35. So that was on me. I made a mistake there. Should have given this one to the $0.50 rather than, you know, putting it below the $0.75. Ended up getting stopped a little bit too early. Could have taken some profits on this one. So I will learn better for next time. So it looks like their low 60s are where the buyers are stepping in. So again, 62 and then 62 and 60, 62 and 60. 1262 and 1260 are the current or the prior current bar low and the prior bar low. Prior bar high is 14. This one, the current bar highs are around 35. So we're still a little bit below that price action now. Let's see if we can get right back up. TWG is finding a bit of an aggressive bid into the $0.50 we go. Oh man, I got stop hunted. That does not feel good at all. All good, you know, win some, you lose some. Let's see if this one's got more juice. It's getting a bit of a bid now as this one getting aggressively bought up into 13.5. Could we get a continuation above the $0.50 here? Seller at the half, can't shake him. So let's see if we can get that print on the way down. Nothing. Giving it to us here. We got 56s on now. Let's see if we can get a continuation into almost 14. 64 showing up now as a key area of resistance. Into the 70s we go. Boom, into the 80s. Boom, again, man. Nice trade over here on TWG. But I made a boo-boo. Dang it, man. I took out the entire position accidentally. Oh, this one's going to haunt me, bro. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. It popped up into 14.5. I suck. Oh, dude.
Did you do that on purpose?
I didn't do it on purpose, man. I made a keystroke error, and it popped up into 14.5. We took a nice winner on it after having a loser, but it sucks to be me. 14.5 area high. Look, this one's not done yet, though. Old man can't hang, says Batman, for real. Yeah, that's my line. It gets used against me now, so that's the way that one works.
Ruby Millionaire thinks you do it on purpose, my boy.
Really?
Yeah.
He can say whatever he wants. He's entitled to his opinion. So we're keeping an eye on. Thank you for you know, supporting his delusions. By the way,
I never said I supported.
Into the area high. Here we go again. Into the $0.50. What about now, Mr. Millionaire? Oh, into the area high. I give you a gesture. 1480 into the area high, my boy. There we go. 146%. We did it live. Right back. All right, 1480. I actually have the 80 out there. Here comes the Halt, guys, on this monster. Let's see what this one does. You need a few more seconds at this level before it drops all the way back down, and there's the gray out, my boy. 1480 area high. We're doing it live. We got right back in, Joey. What do you got?
That's to you, Ruby Millionaire. You're getting 316 right now, brother. That's not a good sign whatsoever. But no, a nice little pop, guys. We're obviously playing around. Yeah, exactly. 55.50 is going to be that price. We almost got that 1-to-1. I was thinking about taking some off at a 1-to-1, but we're starting to come back in, and we're going to hold it there. So this is our entry, obviously, at 55.50s. And there goes Robinhood. I mentioned this, guys. We're heading up into 37s. Oh, what an absolute monster, man. I'm so glad I reloaded the boat on this thing. I bought some more at 111 or something along those lines, but my average price on this thing is like $40, which is, yeah, let's go. But I mean, yeah, listen, hey man, we talk about these, but don't forget your boy also sold Google right here around like 150 after being in it for multiple years. And then I also sold Tesla in that same area right around 261, right? So yeah, I mean, hey, as much as we'd like to celebrate the winners, we have to understanding the fact that I did make a couple mistakes, right? Oh, there it is, 1-to-1, baby. Let's go, bang, bang. Finally, something to the long side. It was like pulling teeth. Now we're starting to pick up a little bit of momentum, guys. 1 1/4 right here. Something might be coming into the overall market because we're really starting to steamroll, and the volume on the lower time frames picking up substantially. So let's take a little off. I said we were going to at a 1-to-1. We almost got a 1.5-to-1 right there. We'll take a couple off. Boom, there we go. We catch the fill on that front. So finally, and now we're really starting to rock and roll. Patient hands, baby. Oh, I thought I did something absolutely detrimental. Oh, way. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Oh, we got to go to Adara. Wow.
Keep an eye on NVDA here. NVDA rocketing higher on reports from the semaphore suggesting that the U.S. is going to be allowing NVIDIA H200 chip exports to China. So again, semaphore reporting that the U.S. is going to be allowing these NVIDIA H200 chips to be sent to China. This news is sending NVDA higher. Back to you.
Right now, everybody knows what I just did right there. I can't believe it. I just want to know. Sharif, what do you think happened, brother?
No, do I have to put my hands up again?
Brother, I didn't. No, I did. Oh, that is, yeah. I mean, hey, man. Oh, that is disaster.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, no,
I just went through it. So.
Dude, look what happened to NVDA. I'm like, something's coming into the market.
Yep.
Let's take some up. Look at the volume step in. I literally went to take 10% off and closed the whole position. Breaking news.
There it is.
Yeah, look at NVDA go.
Oh, wow.
Look at it go, one up to 186.
Allow U.S. NVIDIA.
Oh, my.
I don't know how this is going to go over with Congress. So we know President Trump and his own party in Congress right now are not seeing eye to eye, Joey, on these H200 chip exports. And let's cut the crap. The H200 is from 2023. Is China going to want to buy that?
Yeah, but didn't they say...
Just because America can let them export doesn't mean the Chinese are going to buy these.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, there it is, just like that, guys. Market just flips around completely, and NVDA going absolutely insane. But wow, what this is like Lemony Snicket's, a series of unfortunate events right there. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, guys. We're gonna accept our fate on that. But yeah, I mean, that's really upsetting. But hey, it is what it is. We'll accept it. Instantly, I'm like, oh no, okay, we get up to a level, let me take a little bit more off, and no, we already took it all out. So yeah, nice move, guys. I'm gonna be looking for this move to be continued here. Hopefully there's not too much selling pressure stepping in. We want to see this close relatively strong, but this consolidation.
Keep it down, Ram.
It's Ram, Ramin, you gotta understand my level's at 55.50. We're trading for almost 50 cents higher.
Look how she's giving you trading advice now.
I know, right?
I love it. She's
telling me get back in. Someone said, Joe, you can always get right back in, but you have to understand. No, Sharif, no, we're not going to clap.
I'm not clapping.
No, we're not clapping that one. Why? Because look at my risk to reward, right? Like I was risking 20 cents. That's going to be the low of the day. And I would have been above a 2-to-1 at the peak here, a little bit more. I'm not going to buy it all the way up here. Why? Because where am I proven wrong? All the way down here. That's like an additional 30 cents. I'm not doing that, nor am I chasing it. And there it goes, continuing to climb higher and higher as NVDA just turned the boat around. And finally, Tesla started to turn around as well, too. But not participating as aggressively. We took all the attempts that we could on this thing. Boom, and there it is. But it's detrimental watching this thing continue to climb higher. But hey, we suck it up and we look for the next trade.
So you said detrimental again. It's like detrimental to your health to watch the trade.
Yeah,
brother, I have been there.
Yeah,
and not just intraday, but to look at positions that you punched out of like a while ago and then just watch them run. Detrimental to my health.
Yeah.
You know what's detrimental to my health too?
What?
The price action on TWWG.
Yeah, but you got it though, man.
Yeah, it took a little bit. This thing is continuing to rock up, guys. It's a 1669 high of day. We have cleared all the pre-market highs, okay? So now this one is basically unobstructed to the quarterback at the moment. 1669, dropping back down, holding 15 generally into this halt level. Remember, we halted at 1480s, so 15-ish was the kind of the halt band. Let's keep an eye out on that. Seller at 1580s here that we can't shake. Let's keep an eye out on TWG, but it is 1 o'clock, so hopefully like I don't control it. We'll start the news soon, guys. But I wanted to mention as well that Wave WVE is looking real good here, guys. It held 17, not on a strict basis, but it held that 17 consolidation that we talked about. Look at that long area of consolidation from 10:30 until the breakout at 11:15. 17 was the level. We drop all the way down. We consolidate at around 17-ish. And here we are right back above all the moving averages and at 1750, looking to possibly go into 18, then 18 and 4/5 on that. That is the high of the day, 1880 on the dot. So that's what we're going to keep an eye out on. But I'm unlikely to want to jump into any trades now that we are starting the news. I'm going to keep my eyes certainly on FULC, as this one's still holding VWAP and looking to possibly take out 16. So I'm looking at that. Joey, do you want to have anything to cover before I jump into the news?
No, brother, we're just sitting here. Meta's selling here. As the market's starting to climb higher, you get down to 668 here in META. If this thing sells a little bit more, it's an all-day buy. I think I'm going to add at the breach of this gap, to be honest with you, on the daily. Yeah, it's just painting. I'm glad that I get to leave in 48 minutes because I'm just. Yeah, listen, man, it's chewing me up. The fact, no, I'm obviously being sarcastic. It's one thing. I guarantee you by tomorrow I'll forget about it. Wednesday, 100 it'll be erased from my memory, and then sure enough we'll take a look. But no, as for that, Shreve, looking at Meta, looking at the overall market continue to climb higher, and there goes NVDA still breaching through the high of the day and grinding. And, wow. Robinhood almost up to 38. This one we can get a round of applause for. Oh, hold on. What's this here?
What's up?
Oh, okay. Oh, I've seen on the schedule it said the anniversary of something, so I just wanted to pull that up and see what we got going on. But nothing substantial, Street. But yeah, let's rock and roll. Let's get this news fired up.
Sir.
Let's party.
Okay. So we're going to start off with the Netflix Warner Brothers tie-up, but there has been obviously a development since this story was published in the morning. So we'll bring you that as well. I'm just trying to load it up so that I can kind of continue with that part of the story. So President Trump on the weekend said the Netflix takeover bid of Warner Brothers Discovery, quote, could be a problem. His words, signaling, of course, potential political and antitrust friction. Trump praised, of course, or not of course, but he did praise Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos, but emphasized WBD scale, saying the deal, quote, has to go through a process, hinting, of course, at the upcoming scrutiny. So Netflix agreed to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, and then there's developments for this, of course, for $72 billion or around $27.75 a share. And they would gain here WBD streaming plus the studio assets. However, the deal would have to wait until their legacy cable networks got spun off. And then it would be 12 to 18 months from the time that that segment got spun off before the deal closes. Paramount Skydance for their, Paramount Skydance had offered $30 a share for all. I don't know what the hell.
You talking about, is it agua?
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah, all right.
Something's in my throat. Paramount Skydance had offered $30 a share for all. You're going to have to take over.
All right, yeah, do your thing, man. Yeah, I'll leave it with, so I'll let Shree finish thing once he gets everything back together, but a nice little rebound right here in the TQ, so you get that pullback down to 55.75. Someone said long COVID, which is crazy. But there goes Robinhood, guys. Still on its move to the top side. Take your time, Shree, by all means. Once you get really good going, cough it out, and sure enough, there it is. Apple starting to get somewhat of a bounce as well, too, so that's a pretty good look. From 277, wow, still continuing to climb. I remember I owned Apple years and years ago, which is crazy to say in the team.
Thank you, Ram. That's so nice of you.
There you go, bang.
But I actually sampled a little bit of the chili that was back there.
Oh, is that what it got you
I think I'm choking on that. You can't put protein and meat in front of me and expect me not.
And then you not try it?
Help myself
Yeah, I gotta cook some salmon up today. 138 on Robinhood. What is going on here? This name is just going absolutely insane. Do we take a potential long here in Google? You know what? I could care less to put on any more trades today, guys, except the losses for what I have. It was the gate out of the gate with Tesla, and then this would be an additional loss here on the long side. But other than that, man, I'm cool with just posting up, chilling. Parkdale posting is what we like to say here in Toronto, guys.
All right, so let's go on, continue with the story, sorry. So Paramount Skydance, they had offered about $30 a share, and they were going to include the legacy assets. So we're talking about the cable networks. But at the time of the writing of this article, Netflix bid had prevailed. Paramount, they threatened a hostile takeover bid, so they were going to circumvent the board entirely and take their offer directly to shareholders, of course, with a view of putting pressure on the board. But of course, this morning, we got another headline that Paramount Skydance had launched a hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers on Monday, taking its case to acquiring the story directly to shareholders. So what they were arguing was a $30 all-share offer. No, this is not the one that I'm talking about. I want the amended Netflix bid. I'm just looking for that as well. After Paramount. Okay, I don't have it here, but any event, Paramount says that their deal would be fully backstopped by the Ellison family and Redbird Capital, along with about $54 billion of debt commitments from the Bank of America, Citi, and Apollo. Tender offers are time-consuming and expensive, and many have failed. It's especially audacious for Paramount, though, Joey, this article reads, which has a market value of around $14 billion to effectively go up against Netflix, which, of course, has a $400 billion valuation. So, Paramount Skydance, Warner Brothers Discovery, Netflix, the saga continues. Give us your take.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was going to be as smooth sailing as some individuals thought. Hostile takeover. I don't know if you want to go down that road either. But I mean, you could it's just going to form a giant, and then you'll get the antitrust saying that they hold obviously an unfair monopoly in the streaming business and in the entertainment business. So I'm going to be patient to wait and see what's going on. 12 to 18 months, no deal is finalized just yet either. So I'm just going to be patient. Once it does, you might see a pop in this in some more of the stocks. WBD was popping today, and then you're starting to see the aggressive selling in Netflix, which it never really recovered from. So I'm going to be patient, Sharif. I think Netflix is going to come out on top on this just due to the amount of cash flow that they have, high margins and everything. So it might be a little bit more strategic. I was
listening to a lot of analyst commentary over the weekend, and a lot of people are saying, look, this is going to cost Netflix a lot of money. Yeah. And the comparisons that were being drawn was when Amazon picked up MGM for way less money, and they got their entire catalog in the same way that Netflix would get Warner Brothers catalog. Now, you can fair people.
I was going to say, the strength within the catalog, I think, is really, really important.
There you go. I was coming to that point. Very well said. So I think that reasonable people can disagree about, MGM's catalog versus Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers may be worth multiples more. But the fact of the matter is, this is going to cash strap Netflix for a long time.
Absolutely.
At the time, Joey, where we see them making a concerted push into sports. Sports isn't cheap either. We see what some of the legacy media has to pay now for the NBA deal, for example. For even NHL, you were giving me, which is the weakest of all the leagues, other than MLS, of course, right? But at a time when Netflix is already making a push somewhere else, is there enough room for them? Obviously, I'm not talking about dollars and cents. I'm talking about, strategically. Is this going to kind of strap them a bit?
Listen, well, you might be cash strapped for a little bit, but I think just the potential, because if they have all the rights to some of their big series, I think Game of Thrones is one of the best series that was ever produced on the planet, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people can agree to that. But the spin-offs that you can do, you can make massive money, just considering you have all the rights, you're grabbing the studios as well, too. Right. So they're not going to be spending money on the studio aspect, and they just need to get a little bit more creative. But the potential for the spin-offs, I think, could be huge and pay tough in the long run.
And to be fair, yeah, well said. Dylan Nuff, great comment by you, brother. I could be naive, but how are the arguments against Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers different from the arguments against Skydance Paramount? No, it's absolutely fair to bring the argument both ways. I think the only really difference here is how much backstop obviously Netflix has, maybe versus the Ellisons, but I think that they're in a comparable group, man. They're both monsters.
Look what Paramount Skydance has been doing as of late. UFC deal.
There you go.
Sporting deals.
Which
so
they
they're
had to pay for.
They had to pay out the wazoo for that, but that's a big deal. ESPN Plus, we know that's with Disney. They're losing that. So that's out of the works. So for me, in my opinion, I don't think what Netflix is doing is any different than what Paramount Skydance is doing. So
I agree.
It's just pick who.
They're going to both be expensive.
Exactly.
All right, Adair, give us your take on this tie-up.
I think what also makes a difference here is that Warner Brothers, much like, again, I'm going to use the Metsera, Pfizer, Novo Nordisk example again because I do think it's relevant. We have a situation where the company that's set to be acquired, Warner Brothers, vastly prefers one deal or one offer over another. So I think that's really worth noticing here. We know that Warner Brothers definitely seems to prefer this Netflix offer to the point where we actually had Charles Gasparino, who, as I mentioned, has kind of been the authority for this whole story. He actually was saying that one of the biggest issues here for Warner Brothers and why they don't want to go with Paramount Skydance is because they don't think PSKY is adequately valuing their cable business. So that is a really interesting point. They're basically saying, hey, PSKY, in your offer, you're not giving our cable business the valuation that we believe it deserves. So that, I think, is an interesting point to remember. I was saying from the get that I thought this was going to lead to some regulatory issues. We also know that, again, to mention our friend Charles Gasparino, there were some reports suggesting that, apparently David Ellison was sitting right by U.S. President Donald Trump and his wife at this Kennedy Center Awards ceremony. Then we've got Trump coming out and saying, hey, this deal might have some issues. So I do think some of the timing of this and also, the friendship with the Trump administration is worth keeping an eye on here. That being said, there have been some questions about this deal from across the political spectrum. So I think it's going to be an antitrust issue regardless. Though, as people are mentioning, it's going to kind of come down to which is viewed as the less of two antitrust evils.
Good stuff.
Thank you very much. All right, Joey, let's go on to the next topic. Tesla catching a downgrade today from the people at Morgan. Rare major rating agency downgrade today. So Morgan Stanley downgraded Tesla from to equal weight from overweight, citing valuation excess versus realistic delivery, earnings, and AI traction over the next 12 months. It's a new analyst for them. We're going to talk about him in a second, but analyst Andrew Percoco raised his price target from 410 to 425, but that still does imply a 6% downside from the time from Friday's close. Percoco noted that Tesla deserves a premium for their leadership in EVs, manufacturing, energy, and real-world AI dominance. But he said expectations for AI and all that are already fully priced in. So what's the next move? Well, he expects Morgan Stanley, in fact, as an institution, expect Tesla to underperform consensus estimates over the next year as the stock has run ahead of what he perceives to be the fundamentals. The downgrade does come, though, as Percoco takes over Tesla coverage from longtime bull Adam Jonas, who moved to an AI-focused research role within Morgan. Morgan Stanley had maintained an overweight rating on Tesla since back to September 2023, so over a couple of years now, Joey. Despite the downgrade, the new $425 price target is still above the street consensus estimate. If you average all the analysts who are covering Tesla and you take their price target, it averages into $375. So it underscores, really, despite the downgrade, Morgan Stanley's long-term belief in Tesla's strategic position. The stock currently is up 8.6% on the year, and it's lagging both the S&P and the Nasdaq. And quite frankly, you want to know something, Joey?
What's that, brother?
It is now the second worst performing Mag 7 name, only being outdone by Amazon. Ooh. That had been a title most covetedly held for Apple.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now Apple's double digits up on the year.
Well, I mean, when we talk about playing catch up and just kind of going from leaders to laggers, I know Mitch likes to talk about it quite often. Just watch out, because I think Tesla's pipeline is what's going to send it to that next level. Just be patient, be patient, be patient. As for Amazon, obviously the discretionary slightly week in the past couple of days, but I like everything that Tesla's got going. I'm not fearful of this stock whatsoever. You can downgrade it as much as you like. As soon as the autonomy and he continues to expand his geofence in multiple states, watch out. He has the production capabilities. So once everybody's on his side and you get the regulatory clarity, off to the races Tesla can go. And I would not be surprised once you start seeing them reflected. And Sharif, we're talking a ways down the road. I mean, 3-4 years probably we're looking at until you have this at potentially full scale. But when that starts to reflect in the earnings reports, watch out. This thing is going to be a $1,000 name, in my opinion.
Agree. I mean, and if you believe Kathy, it'll be more than that. Guys, TWG is going to halt again, 1832. Let's see if this is going to be a false halt. It's up 204%. It's really breaking out now and really getting going. There we go. We're halted. We've done about 9.5 million shares on the day because it wasn't always such a halter. It actually had been trading quite calmly below VWAP, in fact, for the majority of the show. TWG halted up. What do you make of the developments over the weekend with Elon and the European Commission fining him? I think it was like $150 million in and around that area.
Really?
For violating what they're saying is a DMCA, and now that's what caused him to basically ask for the dissolution of the European Union, just basically saying that they should give all the power back to the nation states. So going back and forth, and a lot of American regulators, or sorry, American politicians are also commenting on it about the fact that, you know, they're still continuing to shake down these American companies. Nothing you and I haven't been talking about.
Yeah, they continuously do so.
Continuing to shake down American
there you
companies.
Go. Just keep pissing them all off, and then sure enough, they're just going to be like, all right.
This was a private one, too.
Yeah, we're just going to be like, all right, we've had enough of you guys, so do what you will.
All right, Adair, what's up?
I have some news on Google, guys. GOGL announcing here that their first AI glasses are going to arrive next year. Stock isn't really moving, but be aware, Google with some new AI glasses set to arrive in 2026.
Apple, next story over here, leadership moves, but we have updates on this as well, as we've had some responses from individuals. So Apple's senior VP of hardware technologies, Johnny Sarugi, was reportedly considering leaving the company, prompting questions about Apple's long-term silicon and AI strategies. Just to give you an idea who this guy is, he is central to Apple's custom chip development. We're talking about the M series as well as the A series chips in your phone and on your laptop, meaning the exit would be meaningful given Apple's push into on-device AI. We've been talking about Apple looking to use small language models on device to maintain privacy, as opposed to investing heavily into the cloud-based AI, these neo-clouds, as we've been speaking about. This comes amid a broader internal pressure as Apple faces intensifying competition in the AI and hardware, AI hardware and software space. You had Deepwater's Gene Munster. He sees recent leadership moves as a part of a deliberate repositioning ahead of Apple's major AI push, expected, of course, in the spring of 2026. That's when we're supposed to get the new Apple Intelligence. However, I'm just trying to find it on my blotter over here. This individual who came out and said, "Look, no, we're not leaving here, Joey." But give me your take on this while I find
yeah,
this part.
absolutely. I mean, a lot going on for Apple, in my opinion. Matteo and I were actually talking about this yesterday at hockey, and he's not in love with Apple. And I said, you know what, dude, I'm going to take the opposing view. They haven't spent nearly as much money as some of these other companies, and they can still reap the benefits. They're going to be collecting that $20 billion check from Google. That's going to probably go up. Next thing you know, OpenAI is going to be paying them as well, too. I just want to see what's in the pipeline. The iPhone 17 sales have been absolutely phenomenal. There's no questioning that. What is the 18 going to bring? It's been really quiet on the AI release front, rightfully so, considering what happened before with the Apple Intelligence. So just be patient. But if this is, we got to take into consideration that we haven't even got the full release yet, and we're at the 17, so watch out. I'm curious to what the iPhone, I think my next iPhone, if I have the 16, I'm gonna wait for the 20, because that could be the best iPhone yet. They have to do something big, in my opinion.
I like it. Yeah, the 20 for sure.
The 20.
I should say separately that rumors were flooding all over the weekend online about Apple's new foldable phone. Apparently, it's going to use these hinges that are made a certain way, and there's not going to be a crease on the screen as there is on every other foldable phone
like
so
the
far.
Huawei's and
I don't see Apple dropping a foldable if there's a crease. No.
So do you think they're going to go from the Slim? Do you think the Slim will be thrown out the window in the near future?
So I think the Slim was the entry into the foldable because if you think about the Slim, it's going to be basically two of those stuck together.
Yeah, exactly.
And apparently it's not going to have Face ID because it's not going to be able to house the components for Face ID. So they're going back to the fingerprint scanner, which is going to be on the side of the phone. All this is unverified, of course, as it always is with Apple.
Yeah.
And it's only going to have 2 cameras on the back instead of a telephoto lens as well. So there's going to be a super wide frame and a regular one as well.
Okay, so maybe some downgrades within the technology within it, some of the hardware within it, same software.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of square screens because they're kind of like, what am I doing with a square screen? You know, 16 by 9 is how you watch it. So here's what we were talking about earlier. Apple's Johnny Sarugi, who oversees the company's chips unit, told staff that he's staying at the company. Bloomberg reported. Here's what he said. I know you've been reading all kinds of rumors and speculations about my future at Apple, and I feel that you need to hear it from me directly. He said in a memo to his division, I am proud of the amazing technologies we have built. We all build across displays, cameras, sensors, silicon batteries, and a very wide set of technologies across all Apple products. Together, we enable the best products in the world. I love my team and I love my job at Apple, and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon, the report added. So for the moment, this is kind of where we stand. So we'll pause here for a sec, Joey.
All right, guys. Guys, I just found something crazy. I'm digging into exchanges and stumbled across BTCC. Top 30 globally, but here's the wild part. BTCC has never been hacked. While major exchanges keep getting wrecked, BTCC stays untouched. Zero know your customer. If you're in the US, Canada, or Europe, through Trader TV, you get 100 USDD coupons for registering plus 15 bonus thing that covers losses up to 15K USDD.
I like coupons.
Seriously, what am I missing here? Scan the QR code for more information.
All right, guys, let's go on. Microsoft explores custom chip designs with Broadcom. This is going to be super interesting, I think, the next couple of years to see these hyperscalers make their own chips rather than relying on NVIDIA's. I think that's where we're going, but we'll have to wait and see. Microsoft in active discussions with Broadcom to co-design custom AI chips, signaling, of course, a deeper push into that in-house built silicon. Microsoft had previously collabed with Marvell, but rising requirements for high-performance AI hardware are prompting a shift towards a broader, more scalable partnership with Broadcom. So reads the article, not my opinion. The move highlights Microsoft's intent to reduce reliance on third-party GPU vendors. Who are these third-party GPU vendors? As I scratch my head here for effect. We're talking about NVIDIA, of course. External chip expand internal chip capabilities, according to the article. So we know Microsoft is joining the likes of Google, Amazon, Meta, OpenAI, and others who are all developing their custom AI silicon. For example, Google now prepping to sell its TPU, its tensor processing unit, externally. It's been using it internally for a hot minute. AWS as well, with Trainium, Trainium 2, and now Trainium 3 on the precipice of development to further advance its custom AI accelerator roadmap. We know Meta is co-developing chips with Marvell with a possible release in 2027. Collectively, the initiatives represent a structural shift in the AI chip market from entire reliance on NVIDIA's high-end GPUs into these more specific, cheaper, and less energy-hungry custom silicon chips. Basically, what do they call them? Application-specific integrated circuits. Custom chips, Joey, as I just mentioned, offer better vertical integration to lower long-term costs, more tailored performance for company-specific AI architectures. Every time I look at Broadcom, bro, this thing's a little bit higher, a little bit higher. I think it breached. Are we all-time highs? No, not quite yet.
Not quite?
Not quite. 1016 is all-time highs on Broadcom.
Yeah. I mean, Sharif, at the end of the day, when we talk about NVDA and just the dominance within market share that they have within the chip space, I'm going to be looking at this kind of in the same way that with Tesla in Europe and obviously Tesla here in North America as well too, is that you can be at the top, but unfortunately when you're at the top, there's only one way to go.
Only one way.
From a market share standpoint, as some of these major corporations are continuously making their own chips. So what am I essentially saying is that you have Meta doing it, you have Microsoft doing it, you got Google doing it, all of these massive companies starting to produce their own, Amazon as well too. So what is that going to do for NVDA's market shares? Slowly start to decline. I'm not saying that it's the end of NVDA. I'm saying at the end of the day, it'll be just fine, but you're going to see stocks like Microsoft get a pop. It's been selling for quite some time off of this news as well too. So that's where I stand. You're going to see that market share slowly start to cool down, and you're going to see it go to the other companies like the Amazons, the Googles, and the Microsofts.
And another thing too, like remember we keep talking about these NVIDIA chips like just being back ordered to no end because everybody wants to get them, right? And so by kind of circumventing that and making your own chips, you're kind of digressing away or diverting away from that, you know, product backlog that everybody has to wait in line for, or you got to pay up a little bit more.
It'll slowly cool down,
right?
I think, in my opinion.
We'll see. This is all super new and developing.
Yeah, it's going to take time. We're not saying that it's going to happen tomorrow or in the coming days. The market being forward-looking, obviously, with this one, putting in a solid position. Microsoft going opposite the market here today.
All right, Adara, give us your take on Broadcom.
I think with Broadcom here, one of the biggest things to remember is they actually report earnings this week. They're going to be reporting earnings after the bell on Thursday. So you can find this here in Exit TV Research posted over the weekend. But here's a look at what to kind of expect from this report. Now, last quarter, obviously, a lot of strength. Forward guidance, they are expecting some growth. And we had some analyst notes this morning as well with people suggesting basically it is possible for this company to have this data center beat. We know that data center and the intense growth they're forecasting for data centers has been one of the biggest things on watch for AVGO. So if they can surpass that on earnings, I think that's the biggest thing to remember. As I mentioned earlier, this Microsoft and AVGO story, while interesting, was actually initially reported last week. So I think right now, certainly keep an eye on these earnings heading forward. Back to you.
All right, this is what we're waiting on here, Joey. So these bad boys right here, these are called the Phoenix. Meta's I'm just trying to close all these ads. My goodness, talk about being inundated with ads. Here it is. These are the augmented reality glasses, Phoenix. They look very similar to the Orion glasses that were a prototype. Obviously, there's your camera, but there is, augmented reality displayed onto these lenses. And these bad boys, Joey, they're going to be delayed. So Meta did announce these earlier in one of their launch events, but those are going to be delayed to 2027. So let's talk about them. They've pushed back the launch of its mixed reality glasses, Phoenix, from the second half of next year to the first half of 2027, as per an internal memo obtained by Business Insider. Leadership says the delays provide more breathing room to perfect the product, which is kind of reinforcing the challenges every company is having with these new form factors that we're all talking about going to be in the glasses form. The timing aligns with internal budget discussions as well as the potential for 30% cuts to the metaverse division, which has already accumulated about $73 billion in losses. This is part of that division, obviously, but not without its AI components. Meta confirmed its acquisition of Limitless, as well as we reported to you guys on Friday, a maker of AI-powered wearable devices. The move is a clear pivot from the metaverse spending towards AI-enabled wearables, a category Meta believes will deliver faster, more real-world adoption than the unproven metaverse. Financial terms, for the acquisition of Limitless, Joey, were undisclosed, but Meta will integrate the Limitless team directly into Reality Labs' AI wearables division. What do you think about this? Meta, what are they? They're down 4/5.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very interesting, right? So like Zuck essentially saying, taking his bet off on the metaverse and then just placing his bet on wearables. Now, he's going pretty heavy in this, in my opinion, with across the board. We've seen athletes starting to wear his glasses as well, the newer versions that just released not too long ago. I mean, it's another big bet. If they don't adopt, then what's going to happen to the stock price? So I'm going to be keeping an eye out on it. I think it's a mixed bag. A lot of people like the glasses. A lot of people are like, hey, man, I could care less for these things. One thing to note as well, Sharif, is how are we going to be operating these these glasses? Is it going to be through that
There you
neuro,
go.
right? What
There you
are you
go.
going to, because we know, you mentioned this before, that Apple already has the technology where you don't actually need to wear something that is connected to your nervous system.
And that's one of the only things that Zuck praised when he reviewed about a year and a half ago the Vision Pro. And he was like, he liked the fact that they had that, and you didn't need the wrist,
the neural
thing.
The neural band.
So I don't think Meta can't do that. Of course, it's probably in the works already.
Yeah. But it just shows you kind of how they're a couple steps behind.
That's good.
Like, I mean, the thing is, though, one thing we'll give credit to Meta is that they have the ability to put it into glasses, whereas Apple, you literally have to wear this massive face shield at the end of the day to use the product.
You hope that they can get better with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly. All right, so I know Google had another midday headline that Warby Parker Google AI glasses to launch in 2026. That came a little bit later. We're going to review right now the Pivotal Research comment today on Google. So Pivotal Research analyst Jeffrey Wolderzak reiterated a buy on Alphabet, calling the company an unstoppable force, Joey, across the AI landscape. He also boosted that price target to $400, which implies a 26% upside from Friday's close. He argues that Google is winning across the entire AI stack, from the foundational models to the cloud, to the modernization, with momentum in every major business line. It's hard to argue with him there. Gemini 3, the new AI model, is outperforming OpenAI's ChatGPT across several different benchmarks, with Altman reportedly declaring a code red, pushing internally for OpenAI to accelerate improvements to their 5 model. Wolderzak there expects Gemini to gain market share aggressively into 26, something that is still very much dominated by ChatGPT and OpenAI. And he says, look, Gemini allows Google to take significant costs out of search as AI efficiencies increase. And he also likes the TPUs, the Tensor Processing Unit headline that we brought to you a couple of weeks ago, which apparently makes everything materially cheaper. And this is something we've been talking a lot about. Alphabet's Tensor Processing Unit business offers chips materially cheaper than NVIDIA's GPUs, which supports, of course, cloud profitability as a very high margin business. TPUs currently power only 15 to 20% of Google's workloads, meaning there's a massive runway for monetization and cost efficiency if they wean themselves off the NVIDIA's GPUs.
Yeah, fair enough. I want to ask you this, Shreve. Do you think that OpenAI is slightly one-dimensional?
Well, they're trying not to be, right? When I think about the Johnny Ives deal, right? When they bought his design company, they want to get everything into a product.
So they want to build an ecosystem, essentially,
I think they're trying to, Joey.
Right? And I think it's really difficult because we already know that some of these major companies like Google and Apple have their ecosystems already established, right? So in my opinion, anything that Google does, it's hard for me to say that they can go wrong. It's essentially an ETF, right? It's a tech ETF under the Alphabet company. You have so many different names, and I think they're going to continue to advance. I completely agree that these guys are going to continue to dominate in this AI race that we like to call it. Why? Because they have the most data out of everybody else. They have the search engines. They have the social media platforms. So it just gives them that advantage where a company like OpenAI had to start from scratch, and they still need to establish their ecosystem.
Well said. Well said. All right, let's go on to Berkshire. There's going to be a leadership shakeup there. So Berkshire Investment Officer Todd Combs, who's also served as the Geico CEO, is leaving after 14 years. I didn't think he'd be joining JP. He's joining JP Morgan as head of its new Security and Resiliency initiative there. JP Morgan's initiative will deploy about $10 billion initially, with a long-term commitment of up to $1.5 trillion. They're targeting many different sectors: defense, aerospace, healthcare, energy investments, and he's going to be leading all that up. Combs will also act as a special advisor to CEO Jeremy, stepping down from JP Morgan's board immediately, so there's no conflicts there. Let's just give an idea of who this guy is and who's going to be replacing him, Joey. So Combs and Ted Weschler have long been viewed as successors to Berkshire's investment operations. His departure raises succession questions about who will manage Berkshire's massive equity book once the Buffster steps down. We also know Warren Buffett, of course, is scheduled to hand over CEO duties to Greg Abel in 2026, marking the timing of Combs, of course, particularly notable. And there's been many different people leaving here, Joey. Berkshire, their longtime CFO, Mark Hamburg, retiring after 40 years. You got Nancy Pierce, who was the COO, of Geico. She's stepping down. Adam Johnson, CEO of NetJets, he's going to transition into president of Berkshire's Consumer Products, and Greg Abel, as we know, of course, taking over for the Buffsters. So a lot of transitions, a lot of movements there, Joey, in Berkshire Hathaway. What's going on over there, Katina, man? Abel's Canadian. We like that. We like that very much.
There you go, Greg Abel, Canadian.
The Katina man is now short the futures. He's returned, and he's punching short, baby.
I like that short on the overall market. Let's head over to a weekly. And I mean, when you talk about quality investments, obviously led by Warren Buffett and his late partner, Mr. Charlie Munger, fantastic stuff. I mean, it's just steady appreciation, Sharif. We're seeing some bigger returns in a shorter span from March of. This is the beginning of COVID, roughly, and then you're up approximately 206%. I mean, it's not bad, but it's just a nice steady incline here on Berkshire. But as for the leadership shakeup, we've already seen this stock react after they announced that Warren Buffett is going to be stepping down. So, I mean, you'll probably see a little bit more of a shakeup in the stock as well.
And Geico is a major income payer for them. That's been a big one for theirs. All right, guys, and Ozan especially, listen up, new traders. First month, it is free. That's right. We're waiving all the fees so you can trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to that elite experience so you can analyze, strategize, and after all that, you will hopefully capitalize on their platform that has everything. We're talking about infinite data and instant trading and lightning fast market insights and game-changing charts. And you can predict better with their backtesting tool. Yes, you can do backtesting, reliable, real-time data, global markets at the tips of your fingers. It is an all-in-one platform, so do yourself a favor and do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, you need to scan that QR code or click the link in the description. Shout out to the good folks there at eSignal. Was that there? No? Oh. All right. Joey, let's go on to the next story. Marvell downgraded on an Amazon chip loss concern. So we'll explain what that means in a second. Benchmark analyst Cody Acree downgraded Marvell to hold from buy and removed the firm's price target altogether, citing new industry checks. Those are his words. The article wrote, after extensive industry meetings, Acree now has a high conviction, not knowledge, but a high conviction that Marvell has lost both Trainium 3 and Trainium 4 chip design wins to Taiwanese competitor AI Chip. I didn't even know there was a Taiwanese company called AI Chip. Analysts view the loss as a major factor behind Marvell's sharply lower XPU growth outlook, which they gave at the last earnings report, now projecting only about 20% in 26, below the prior expectations. Marvell has guided investors towards increasing annual Amazon revenue, but Acree, the analyst, he says this is being misunderstood by the street. The analyst believes this revenue growth is coming from continued Trainium 2 volumes and Amazon's Kuiper LEO satellite engagement, and not from any transition to the Trainium 3 as many had assumed. The discrepancy implies, of course, that Marvell's long-term AI chip share at Amazon may be overstated by bullish investors. This is a concern. What do you make of this?
Yeah, very interesting stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that obviously I'm not a chip expert whatsoever, but if you look at the stock here in Marvell, you're up 109%. It was on a solid, it was on a solid run for quite some time. A lot of positive catalysts, just kind of giving it a tailwind here. So not too bad, but I mean, competitive nature. We know what's going on in the chip space, and people are going to lose market share left, right, and center as you have these emerging companies starting to step up.
Absolutely, well said. All right, let's go on to Carvana, getting added into the S&P 500. This company was near death, man. Wow. So Carvana set to join the S&P 500 index on the 22nd of December after almost entering bankruptcy in 2022. It's on a nice winning streak, 11 days. Today might be 12, and the stock is up. I actually had to check this to make sure it wasn't a hallucination. more than 8,000% from the 2022 lows. The market cap now sitting at 87 billion as it closes in on 100, and it's like eclipsing some of the legacy automakers, the cars that they sell. Ford at 52 billion, GM at 71. This thing's at 87, man, with a 57.4 forward PE. Analyst cite vertical integration and scale as some of the key competitive strengths, which is enabling their long-term margin expansion. The index inclusion is expected, of course, to spur passive fund buying through December as other funds look to shadow what's included in the S&P 500. Usually we call that trade on the floor here. An addition trade. There's also the short interest, which has dropped to its lowest level in years as the fundamentals for the company have improved, reducing the squeeze risk. But at the same time, you know, you may not get a big move upside from the squeeze, but you're getting improved financial strength, and that should be better in the long term. Data shows here, Joey, that short sellers got rinsed for $1 billion recently as a strong stock ran higher. And just to give you an idea of how many units they sold, Joey, on the quarter Q3, almost 156,000 cars with revenue climbing. Read that number.
Brother, that's crazy.
55% year over year on the quarter. I don't know, bro. You know what? You want to know how? Because the average selling price of a new car now is insane.
So how furious would you be as one of these legacy automakers watching the person essentially selling your same vehicles that are just used and the stock just skyrocketing in the span of a couple of years?
Do you see what Marquise Brownlee did? Did you see what the video he dropped, Marquez Brownlee?
Did he?
You need to watch it, Joey.
Was on
the SU7. You know what he said about the SU7?
What did he say?
It's an $85,000 car for $40,000 US. Okay?
And
that's Marquez Brownlee, not Doug Dumaro or everybody else.
Who makes the SU7?
Xiaomi.
Okay.
The one that makes the copy of the iPhone.
Yeah.
And so
he make an iPhone and a car.
They make microwaves, washing machines, everything. And you can like turn on your washing machine from the car. You want to talk about an ecosystem?
Brother, that is insane. How have we not adopted some of this technology? But this doesn't make sense, Sharif. How infuriating would that be to be the GMs, the Fords, and all of these other companies to see like Carvana just selling your used product and then climbing 55%? Year over year, which is absolutely insane. This thing was a $4 name 3 years ago.
It's infuriating. It's infuriating. But hey, whatever, it is what it is, bro. We were all making fun of them. Nobody's going to buy cars from vending machines.
Yeah, vending machines. Yeah,
well,
look
here
how
it is now, right?
Like, apparently,
you feel like stupid, but I was part of that stupidity as well, so I'm
like,
involved.
who is going to buy that? It's insane.
All right, Adara, give us your take on Carvana and its addition to the S&P 500.
Yeah, I think my look is less a take specifically in Carvana and more, I think, just looking back at how many names have been added to the index this year, because it is a staggering amount. So this is 12 as of like the last official edition, which took place on September 22nd, 2025. We're going to get 3 more added because it's not just Carvana, guys. It's also CRH, which the company's also named CRH. That's also the ticker. Then there's Comfort Systems, FIX. So guys, by the end of this year, 15 companies will have been added to the S&P 500. Great look here for TKO. I see Joe pointing that one out. This one by far the strongest post S&P 500 performer. Then we've got TTD on the other side of things. The trade desk getting beaten up pretty aggressively, down 50% plus since it was added to the index less than 6 months ago. Block also getting hit kind of hard. But yeah, I mean, generally, a lot of these names that have been added this year, either flat or relatively stronger, with the notable exception of TKO knocking out its competitors with that strong move up. We'll have to see how Carvana fares after it's added. But as Sean and Neil were mentioning this morning, a lot of these names do tend to kind of sell off right after being added. You can find this infographic and many more on X at TTV Research.
And there is a poll now in the chat. I'm assuming it's for our American viewers and our American viewer only. Yeah. Are you a Carvana user? If you've bought a car off Carvana, we'd love to hear about it. And if you have, and you want to give us maybe a little bit of a review, your experience was good, not so good, tag Joseph or I in the chat. I'd love to hear this, read them out, give people an idea, Joey, about what real world experience is. But yeah, make sure to vote, guys. Have you dealt with Carvana? And if so, kind of what was your experience like?
Pretty sure, like, I don't know. Have you looked into how it works? So you buy the car online,
right?
and then when you go there, you put like a token in, and then it just like brings the vehicle.
But you don't have to do it like that.
No,
so you can
I think that's
get
more,
the car.
That's the fun way.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the fun way.
But you're
doing
buying it
right?
online.
Yeah,
that's the point. And we gotta compare them to CarMax. CarMax doesn't have that online presence. They're traditional, they're a franchise, or whatever, not a franchise, but they're a multi-unit, but they're not focusing on the online, whereas Carvana is like almost everything.
Clutch, have you been on, you've obviously
I've seen
been
it. Is that the Canadian version, right?
Yeah,
I've seen that one. All right, guys, tag Joseph or I if you have any comments with respect to Carvana or your experience with them. We're going to go on to the more car talk here, Joey. We're going to talk about Rivian catching a downgrade from the folks at Morgan Stanley, who are not too bullish at all with the EV sector, at least lately, with a Tesla downgrade today. So analyst Andrew Percoco, I like this guy, this Percoco guy. He's got a very nice to say last name. He downgraded Rivian to underweight from equal weight, but keeping that same $12 price target unchanged. Percoco says Morgan Stanley is adopting a more cautious stance towards EV OEMs next year, with Rivian facing what they're calling is, quote, a prolonged EV winter through the year of 26. The firm's view suggests that Rivian may struggle with demand normalization as well as margin pressure and the capital needs, and that's always an issue with these EV companies, for longer than previously expected. Morgan Stanley's 2026 outlook reflects a cooling EV landscape, as I kind of mentioned there, citing slower adoption as well as increasing consumer price sensitivity. Morgan Stanley expects Rivian to face ongoing cash burn, operational scaling challenges, as well as margin compression through the full year of 26. The downgrade removes, Joey, a supportive Wall Street voice that had been, holding, I don't want to say holding them up, but is one of the big names that still had them as a possible winner here. And I think they're rethinking that whole thing.
Yeah, just expensive vehicles, man. Just going back to the Carvana point, it's just like, you just wait and buy it used. It's tough for the automakers, man. Rivian not performing relatively well. We had a high of $24. You're still 30% off of that level. And if we go back, it gets even more disastrous. Was there any reverse splits or splits in between here? I don't think so, Sharif. You're still down 90%.
No, brother. There's been never. Yeah.
$180. So
it sucks to have gone IPO'd in 21 because so many companies had highs in 21 that may never see again. I'm not saying Rivian won't, but
yeah, like IPO in 21 right at the peak of the market when you're thinking it's a good
EVs,
time. You would want to get in on that in 19 and then go through obviously the COVID runs. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you ever recover from this.
I don't know if you recover either,
I don't think you financially recover from this. As Joe Exotic once said, he'll never know if he'll financially recover. Remember that part when the guy got his finger or his arm bitten off or something?
Oh.
No, you didn't watch it. All right, that's all right, man. But yeah, he's like, yeah, I'll never financially recover from that. I don't think you're going to at this point.
That guy's still in jail?
Yeah,
Why is he
apparently
in jail?
Because he
what did he do?
Conspiracy to commit murder.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, that might land you.
A
little hot water.
So
let's go on, Joey.
You know what, Sharif?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna.
You gotta take off?
Yeah. I gotta get.
Crazy.
I gotta get out of here.
All right.
Brother. You got 10 minutes.
Seeing you.
Guys, I got the boys. Are you guys locked and loaded or no? I'm not. All right, we'll figure it out. But yeah, guys, I gotta go see the surgeon, see what's going on. I will be back bright and I'll wait for them to come back. Sharif started and then I'll.
Sounds good, brother.
Then I'll jump out.
Eli Lilly, guys. China adds Mounjaro to the national insurance list. This is good. And good in one way and not good in another. So China's National Healthcare Security Administration will add Mounjaro to its state-run reimbursement list starting on the 1st of January, making the drug significantly more accessible to the country's 1.4 billion people. It's been there, but it hasn't been on the reimbursement list, the state-run reimbursement list. So reimbursement status typically boosts, of course, volume, but compresses pricing as they negotiate a lower cost per unit than you would get if you were just buying signals. As the government negotiated rates that are materially lower than the private market levels, Novo Nordisk's Ozempic already entered China's reimbursement market back in 2022. So Mounjaro launched in China in January of 2024 following Ozempic's introduction in 21. Again, different times between entering the market and when you make it onto the China's reimbursement list. They're two different dates, two different things. So Ozempic got in 21, and then it got onto the China's reimbursement list in 22. Mounjaro got in at 24, it's getting into the reimbursement list now. I just want to make that point. Ozempic sales in Greater China reached about a little bit less than $900 million in 24. China is expected to be a major battleground for GLP-1 penetration, driven by a rising diabetic population and strong demand for weight loss therapies. There's also a global expansion push here. So Lilly's international president said Mounjaro saw strong initial stocking in China, Brazil, Mexico, and possibly India earlier this year. So good look for Mounjaro there. Q3 results also reflected continued acceleration in the basically all the other markets other than the US, reinforcing that global adoption curve for both diabetes and obesity indications. So a good look here for Eli Lilly. Take care, Joe. See you soon. All right, we'll go on to the next story. Robinhood expands into Indonesia with a dual acquisition. Let's talk a little bit about this one. Robinhood's going to acquire Buena Capital Securitas, which is a licensed brokerage, I'm assuming equities, as well as Pedagang Asset Crypto, which is a licensed crypto trader, marking its first major push into Southeast Asia as an entire area. Indonesia is a prime target, though, for Southeast Asia because they got 19 million capital market investors and 17 million crypto traders, one of the highest adoption rates actually globally. So buying a local brokerage rather than opening one anew had some strategic advantages here for Robinhood. So it dramatically simplifies the regulatory onboarding. It also gives Robinhood immediate legal compliance as well as operational presence rather than having to go through that entire process anew. And acquiring a licensed crypto trader provides that instant access to digital assets product approvals. The transaction for both of these acquisitions is expected to close in the first half of next year, pending, of course, regulatory approvals. So we're going to have to keep an eye out on that. But Hood shares, guys, probably higher now, up 268% year to date. I'm just trying to make sure that that number is still accurate. Where is the hooded one over here? I'm just trying to find it. Give me a second, guys. Robinhood, show yourself, Hood. There it is. It is up 265%, so a little bit lower than this article said. The Indonesia announcement reinforces a narrative that Hood is transitioning from a U.S. disruptor into a global retail and finance platform. Separately, of course, as Joseph and I were talking about earlier, Vlad Tenev, the CEO of Robinhood, was on the compound and Friends for about an hour, really giving a full insight into kind of what he'd gone through from the initial stages of the launch and then, the rising into popular culture of Robinhood during the pandemic, and then a fall from grace as that whole GME saga continued to unfold. And now, the subsequent years and what kind of a monster this thing's become. Just to give you an idea, Robinhood's market cap, guys, listen to this, okay? Robinhood's market cap is $122.5 billion. Let's compare that to IBKR, and IBKR is not a small company. $110 billion, markedly higher than IBKR. So good look for Robinhood, as IBKR was definitely a lot older of a company than Robinhood. Let me know if are you guys not jumping in, right? Okay. CoreWeave announces a $2 billion convertible note. It's due in 2031. So CRWV down on the day. Let's check where they're at right now. Give me a second. Down almost 5%, trading below 84 bucks. They plan to issue about $2 billion in convertible senior notes. They're going to be due in 2031. They're going to do that through a private placement, giving the company, that longer dated, more flexible financing option. The initial purchasers of that convertible note are going to have an option to add an additional $300 million within 13 days, potentially expanding the total rise about $2.3 billion. The notes are going to be jointly and unconditionally guaranteed by wholly owned subsidiaries that back, listen to these rates, man, 9.25% on the 2030 notes and 9% on the 2031 notes. That's some money. That's a great look there. A portion of the capital will fund capped call transactions. The purpose of that is helping to limit the dilution if the stock rallies. However, the remaining funds are going to go to a general corporate purposes, likely, the article says, to support the aggressive expansion in AI infrastructure and the data center build-out. So good look here for the neo cloud provider CoreWeave. But as we look at the chart, this company has certainly seen better days. Let's look at CRWV and see where we're trading at here relative to the area highs. Yeah, it's been quite ugly, man. I mean, I hate to you know, take a victory lap on these lower highs, but when we were at this 185 area, you know, the fact that they bring in about $5, maybe $6 billion in revenue, and they're spending $60, $55 billion in revenue on the year was never going to be good in the short term, and you know, you've seen that certainly. So off the peak there at 188 to the current price, we are actually trading 55%, Katina man, off those all-time highs.
And I was just going to say, I think it's a good read on the chart. Like, you have the cup and handle sort of situation forming where you've just come right back into past support and resistance levels of this $90, and it's not kind of it's not an ideal time to announce that offering, because like the thing is like you were just about to get back to the upside. Now it just kind of looks like you ran into some problems there. So let's give it a day. I think this is more of a day 3 play here on CoreWeave. We'll be able to figure out exactly where we want to go on this stock, if we can break back above 90 or not. And if not, then definitely 70 comes into play again. Like if you don't break those highs and then the market starts to lose a little bit here, this is going to go back into $70. And we can see if it wants to buy the same thing there. It's kind of like what happened here. We got a little bit of a cup situation. Then there's the breakout back to the upside. This time we tried to break out there, and then today you come right back in. I mean, maybe my bias is here. I'm still short the TQs. We were long early, then we went short, then we went short again when we just sat back down there, and now we're starting to hit some bottoms. Oh gosh, there's a nice move to the downside right now, so we're holding on just a little bit to this move. We just got 30s. There it is. Good trading here today on the futures, but we'll throw it back to Sharif there. 4 minutes, and yeah, Joe had to leave a little bit early, so me and Neil will give it some color if there's anything here. But yeah, nice move down in the futures right there.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys helping out, boys. Let's go on to the next story. Micron Analyst lifts the target as the AI memory cycle tightens, and we've been talking a lot about this. Micron shares are well, let's see where they are at right now. Micron is up 2.5, but a little bit negative since that bell rang, but they're up like 190% on the year. So shares trading higher after multiple Wall Street analysts lift their price target on the back of tightening DRAM and NAND supply, as well, of course, as the accelerating AI demand. Susquehanna, they raised their price target from 200 to 300. What they're saying is they're citing materially stronger ASPs across memory categories driven by hyperscaler allocations. Bank of America as well, boosting their price target from 180 to 250. They're arguing Micron is entering a more durable AI memory cycle, which is supported by disciplined supply behavior as well as longer-term contracts. We saw last week that Micron is all but getting out of the consumer retail space to sell RAM to stores and consumers, and they're going to go directly into these corporate buyers because they have higher margins and it's just not worth their time. Street consensus still very much remains bullish on Micron, with 46 analysts covering the company with a buy rating and a median price target of $210. As I mentioned, the stock's almost doubled year to date. It's up 189.33%. Analysts here are highlighting severe DRAM and NAND supply constraints, especially in HBM, high bandwidth memory used for AI accelerators, of course. And he's like, it's the hyperscalers, man. It's the Microsofts, the Amazons, the Metas. They're all locking in early allocations, and that's reducing spot availability. So Micron is one of like the only 3 major companies in the world that sells RAM en masse enough to have billions in market share. So we're talking about SK Hynix, that's number 1, and NVIDIA's biggest supplier. We got Samsung, which sells obviously to a multitude of others, but Micron is the only American company, guys, out of these 3. What do you think about Micron?
I like Micron more than I like SanDisk in the memory space. I think like they're all frothy, and we said today there might be some trouble getting through the 250 level. That ended up being entirely true here, but then that was true of everything, unfortunately. Like, let's be real, like everything popped and then dropped. So it wasn't necessarily a symptom of just Micron being a little bit top heavy, as you said, 190% on the year. Like, that's a little bit far blown. This is a story where, yeah, people are talking about it more now, but the stock's been talking about it all year long. And then you go over to like SNDK, like I feel like this is more of a problem in the memory space. Like, I think when Micron shows a little bit of weakness, these guys are going to show a lot. And that's already been borne out with how far it's pulled back. Like, to me, if your chart resembles that AEF stuff, Abercrombie from a couple of years ago, if your chart resembles SMCI, and it looks like we're on the back end of it, I'm talking SMCI before all the bad stuff happened, then, you know, it's looking like almost as if all of the market talking about memory more is happening after the top has been made, the temporary top has been made. So I don't know how much I'd be buying super heavily into this, especially, just understand Micron's probably the better name in here, but SNDK I think is going to be your weak one there, Sharif. It's already 2 o'clock, taking us to the bridge.
All right, guys, perfect segue. All right, man, it's been real. It's been a good one today, guys. We were all over some of these small caps. Let's just take a quick look over here at which ones are running. Then we're going to send you to the boys. It really is still the TWG show, despite the fact that this one just dropped off 22.75 into 18. It's still trying to hold the 10 EMA. This one's a monster. It's up 213%. It really got going at around 12.30, 12.45. Keep your eye out on that one. And WVE, I mean, you know, it didn't rocket up through 18 and 19 like we were hoping, but it's been holding 17 quite well since about 20 after 12. It's got a bit of a resistance level here at 17 3/4, but holding up nonetheless, guys. All right, it's been real. I'm gonna send you over to the big boys. I'll see everybody shortly at the big desk.
Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you, Sharif.